4 of NFL free agency is here. Welcome back for another live coverage of it. Appreciate everyone for tuning in to a TriCast. If you don't know what we're doing here, we're covering 3 different chat sports channels at the same time, more or less. Our Browns, Broncos, and Falcons channel. So you'll be seeing some coverage for the other teams while we're live right now. Appreciate everyone's kind of patience and understanding during this process. But there's only one of me, and chat sports is still growing, so we don't have enough hosts for all 32 teams. But I appreciate everyone for hanging out with us still. So welcome on into our live coverage. We're going to get into some of the news that has come out today. There's been, I'd say, as the week has gone on, things have slowed down from day 1 all the way to day 4. It's tapered off a little bit, but shout out to all of you guys for watching. Maybe it's because you want to come back for more of the Overlord Venmo extravaganza, the duck races, or just wanting to get the latest on your favorite team. Whatever it may be, thankful that you are watching it with us. Shout out your city for me, though, in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Always fun to see where people are watching. We also got a $100 super chat before we could even go live from our Broncos channel. It's been a long-time viewer, by the way, and I want to say first-time super chatter. So what a start. Michael Ronquillo. I'm not really good at Spanish, but Michael, good morning, Broncos country. Go Bo Broncos. Shout out to Michael. Everyone spam Michael in the chat. Show the guys some love for going above and beyond to support us here at the Chat Sports Studios. Appreciate it, Michael. Thank you so much. Let me know what your favorite signing has been between Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, and Evan Ingram. Michael, ladies and gentlemen, getting the Broncos Breakdown channel high up in the leaderboard for what might be our last day of live coverage. We'll see how things go today. People want to go live yet again tomorrow, but what a tremendous start before we can even get this thing kicked off. Michael, ladies and gentlemen, a $100 super chat. I've got David watching in Cleveland, Phil's in Canton, Ohio, Boyd's in Boise, Idaho, RB is in Vegas. RB, I'll be in Vegas for a bachelor party. This is the second Vegas bachelor party in the last month for me, but I'll be there next weekend for opening weekend of March Madness. Super excited for that. Matthew's in San Diego. Michael's in Pueblo, Colorado. Kenneth is in Salem. Mark is in Denver. Jason's in San Diego. Jaden's in Buford, Georgia. Henry Ruggs is in jail. That makes sense. Question, do you guys think Ruggs will get an opportunity to play in the NFL when he gets out of jail? I think he'll be out in like 3 or so years, 3 to 4 years. He'll be under 30. I think a team's going to call. If he's still in somewhat football shape, I think someone's going to call. Jared's in Columbus, Josh in Michigan, Jackie's in North Carolina, Tony's in Kissimmee, Florida, and I've got Mark in Colorado Springs. So we are all over the country. Awesome to see. Let me know who you want your team to sign. There are still some good players out there. I mean, for example, Nick Chubb has not been signed. Now, I don't expect there to be a huge market for him, so some teams will probably go through their bigger needs and then circle back to a player like Chubb with his recent injury history. But, yeah, there are still some really solid free agents available. We got 2 super chats on our Falcons channel. We'll get to both of those in just a moment. We're a few minutes late because of my own doing here. I had an idea that I probably should have planned out in further advance, but you're going to see what Reed has been cooking up in just a second, but we have pair of super chats. Michael, though, appreciate it more than you realize. A $100 before we even get going. I just told Reed I got to run to the bathroom really quick, and he's like, we just got a $100 super chat. And I tried to guess who it could be from. I don't know if Michael's ever super chatted before. Maybe a few times, Michael. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but not to the likes of this. Feisty Falcons fan. Thanks for the work and dedication. We all appreciate it and always fun. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your kind words. It is a blast what I do, getting to talk about the NFL each day. Some people don't like maybe the way we cover things or covering a few teams at once, but I like covering the NFL, so I think you guys enjoy the process of getting a bunch of content thrown your way as well. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying our live coverage. We got another super chat on our Falcons channel as well. Everyone's just waiting for Overlord to enter the chat, I feel like. Just after yesterday, how could you not be excited about that? I know for sure Eric is. I saw him in the Browns chat already. Joshua Miller with a $2 super. EHYGO. If we trade for Trey Hendrickson and Pitts has a breakout year under Penix, we won't be able to afford Kyle Pitts re-signing. $10 million means a lot next year. We should part ways with Kirk to afford Pitts. You got some good points, but some misguided points. You're not parting ways with Kirk for paying Kyle Pitts in the future. Kirk Cousins has no impact on Kyle Pitts' next contract, potentially with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, if you trade for Trey Hendrickson, you are then giving him a contract extension. I think it's going to be an extension in the neighborhood of around $30 million a season. So 3 years, $90 million. Maybe a $60 million guaranteed. So kind of a 2-year, $30 million contract, which I could see that being a little bit of a squeeze for a Kyle Pitts contract the following year. But look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They're paying Jalen Hurts $51 million. They're paying A.J. Brown $31 million. They're paying Devontae Smith $27 million. They just gave Saquon Barkley a huge fat contract extension, and I haven't talked about a single offensive lineman or anyone on defense. You can't pay these players. What it requires is a owner who's cash rich and is happy to put cap hits later in the contract. And the way you do that is by giving a big signing bonus up front so that the player has a low base salary that first year. Not a lot of owners want to write that big of a check. That's really the truth behind it. So Arthur Blank, if he's willing to write a bunch of big checks all at once, you could get Hendrickson and afford Kyle Pitts. With Michael Penix still on a rookie contract, I beg of you not to think you could only have one or the other. That's what owners want you to think so that they don't get backlash for not paying players. That's just not true. Thank you for the super chat, though. Really appreciate it. Handful of supers flying in here. Okay, Michael said he has super chatted before. I thought you might have, Michael, but I kind of remember in preseason games last year because you've been around the block for a long time. But thank you a million times over. All right, we have a few other super chats coming in here, but who do you guys want your teams to sign? Mark says J.K. Dobbins for the Broncos. I could get behind that. You need a veteran running back. And Dobbins, here's the thing with Dobbins, though. If you're signing a veteran back, it should be for a specific role that you don't think the rookie's going to excel at. Will that role be? Pass protection. That is one of the biggest learning curves for NFL running backs. They're not asked to do it a ton in college, and when they are, it's not that difficult blocking, East Tennessee blitzing linebackers. So if you are going to add a veteran back, I think you should add a veteran back that you forecast your rookie, if you plan to go with the rookie early in the draft, not being super good at. And Dobbins, I don't believe is one of the better run blocking running back or pass blocking running backs. Wow. So English is tough for me right now. That would be my one pushback with Dobbins to Denver. Joshua Miller, based on the Titans' moves, who are they drafting number 1? They have not kicked the can really at all on a quarterback. Have they signed a quarterback yet? The Titans? Or did they just sign one? Oh, they just signed one. That's good timing. Brandon Allen. The fact that they haven't even brought Russ in for a visit, come up in Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, I think they're all set on taking Cam Ward. If not, they're a horribly run organization that didn't even try and get a veteran QB. I think the Titans are staying put at 1 and taking Cam Ward based on all the lack of free agency moves. So the question now for Cleveland becomes 3 options. Take Shedeur Sanders, take anyone else, trade the pick. My preference would be trade the pick, take anyone else, Shedeur Sanders. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to be coming into a Browns roster that is equipped for him to be semi-successful, and I think his skill set is not extreme enough to overcome the hurdles of an aging and declining offensive line, the lack of a run game, and a weak receiving depth. I don't think Shedeur is going to be successful in Cleveland. I think you should go get either Abdul Carter or trade back. That would be my 2 suggestions to Andrew Berry. Josh, thank you so much for your super chat. I see a couple other questions or super chats coming in. Alan Brookshire wants Atlanta to get Asante Samuel. The Chargers did sign another DB. They lost one DB. They signed a DB. Could be a sign that they're not going to bring back Samuel, although Atlanta re-signing Mike Hughes does not bode well for Samuel. However, if they think he could play in the slot, then sure, I can see that. But those are 2 big free agent corner signings then. Hughes and Samuel. Doesn't seem very likely to me. Phil, I'm convinced Browns will take a QB with first pick in second round. We need a free agent receiver bad. Who will it be? I can see why you're convinced with this, because the Browns need a quarterback. They're picking second overall. 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, that results in a quarterback selection. And if they truly do believe, and they just have a different opinion of Shedeur Sanders than I do, that he can be successful, then yeah, it's a no-brainer to me, right? Like if they think Shedeur is the guy, then obviously you get him at 2. I don't, but I'm not a GM. As for a free agent wide receiver, what about Tyler Boyd? Been around the AFC North? Tyler Lockett. If you go back in Browns history under Andrew Berry, they've signed speedy free agent receivers. Marquise Goodwin, Jakeem Grant. Tyler Lockett would fit that mold. I don't know if he still has that speed. Like, I just don't watch enough Seahawks games to tell you if he's truly washed or he's just kind of old, so he's lost a step or 2, but he's not completely out of the league. But that would be my 2 suggestions right there for you, Phil. Thank you for your super chat. A few other super chats coming in here we're going to catch up on. And, of course, as news comes in, we're going to break it down with you guys, like Brandon Allen going to Tennessee. Devin, can't wait for the start of the season. Let's go Broncos. Give me a win prediction, Devin. What do you think this year? I'm going to go 10-7 for Denver. You're probably expecting a bigger number than 10 wins, but it's still a tough AFC West, and the Raiders got better. Oh, that was your question? Yeah. It's still a tough AFC West. The Chiefs aren't going anywhere. The Chargers swept Denver last year, and the Raiders improved with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll over their old head coach and quarterback duo. So I'll go 10 wins, Devin. But appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. Who is that in his profile picture? Is that Dale? I won't say I learned this today, but I learned more about it. How about that? Dale Earnhardt Sr. died in a race. Did you know that? Yeah. I kind of knew that. I'm not a NASCAR guy whatsoever. But they were talking about, I was like, he died in a race? I knew he's dead, but I didn't know he died in the Daytona on the last lap. I was today years old when I learned all that information. I just knew he died. RIP to also. I sit next to our NASCAR guy, and I was like, "Can you give me an NFL comparison for this situation?" And he's like, "Tom Brady dies in the Super Bowl with the Bucks." I was like, "Holy shit! I did not know the magnitude of that." Dolphus Grindle, thank you so much for the super chat. First time, 2 claps for Dolphus, everyone. 1, 2. Long-time watcher, first-time super chatter. What's your thoughts on Denver signing Kupp 1 to 2 years, around 12 to 15 million, and then bringing him on as a coach? His football mind is unreal. Dolphus, appreciate the super chat. So, thoughts on signing Kupp? I wouldn't do anything past a 1-year contract. The guy has missed a considerable amount of time the past 3 seasons. I think he has 2 years with over 1,000 yards. By we, I mean a football community, are chasing the 2021 Kupp. That was a whole college experience ago. Someone went to college as a freshman and graduated, and Kupp did not get to 1,000 yards. Yeah. Reed? Falcons news. So let me finish. Okay. We'll get to the Falcons re-signing in just a second here, but my thoughts are I'm okay with Kupp on a 1-year, $10 million contract. You have the cap space to do it. If it works, awesome. It's a great signing. If not, Walton Penner Group is out a couple $1 million. What do we care about it? You know what I mean? It's not like they're going to be strapped for cap space because of a Cooper Kupp signing. but I don't believe Denver should be engaging in a bidding war and getting to 2 to 3 years for Kupp services. I don't expect him to get more than 2 years at all, at max 2 years, but probably 1 year. D-Hop got a 1-year, $5 million contract. Kupp might be right around that number 2. And if that's the case and it doesn't work out, like, oh well. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to be something that really sets you back because you missed out on a $5, $6, $7 million contract. As for him becoming a coach, I feel like he'd become a coach with the Rams first, kind of reunite with Sean McVay. But yeah, I mean, he definitely fits all the stereotypes of a coach's son, a grinder, all those white football stereotypes. So sure, why not? More the merrier. Okay, DJ Ray. Do you see the Falcons dropping Judon and picking Zadarius Smith or Azeez Ojulari? If not, who would you want to fill Judon's spot? Well, he's a free agent, which maybe you know or don't know, but not necessarily dropping Judon, maybe just dropping him from your radar. As for just moving on from Judon, not re-signing, I'm okay with Zadarius Smith. I think he's shown that he can still rush the passer. And for his age, you shouldn't expect him to be what he was in Green Bay or Minnesota when he was getting 10-plus sacks year after year. But the bar is not very high right now, and I think Zadarius Smith can come in here and contribute somewhat like what Bud Dupree did 2 years ago, and he and Calais Campbell led the team in sacks with 6.5. You get 7.5 sacks, 7 sacks, and you're going to be a legend over the last few years. So Ojulari, 24 years old. He's missed a considerable amount of time throughout his NFL career with injuries. He's never really had a true breakout season. Got off to a nice start this year. He was also buried on the Giants depth chart behind guys like Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. So I'd be open-minded to Ojulari, but I'm not interested in paying him a bunch of money because he was a second-round pick and he's just 24 years old. That feels like you're chasing your tail. So, DJ, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, what's the Falcons news? The insiders don't even have it. It's very small. Oh, okay. Can you put it on screen, or is it not that big of news?
It's not that big.
All right, fire away. Oh, the swing tackle's coming back. So Atlanta's keeping everyone pretty much intact except for Drew Dahlman. I still can't get a clear answer if they've tendered Ryan Newsel or not. I think they have, but I'm not really 100% sure. It's kind of a weird, news drip right now on that front. But Storm Norton, the swing tackle for Atlanta, who filled in more so in 2023 than 2024, he's coming back. I thought he's always done a good job of filling in when called upon. So I like that re-signing for Atlanta. It's one less need for you in free agency elsewhere or the draft. And it's nice to bring back a familiar face, have some continuity at a position that often doesn't get recognized, but man, there is nothing more infuriating as a fan than when the backup tackle comes in and everything goes to shit, right? You're like, we're toast. He can't block to save his life. I didn't realize we had Swiss cheese on the bench, but now it's right in front of us. So it's it's insurance. It really is. You don't know you need it until you need it.
It's so not that big that the Falcoholic did it on Twitter. And it was per his agency.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when the agency breaks the news themselves, it's like it kind of feels like blip. It kind of feels like when your mom or dad posted on Facebook where you're going to college, and that's how people found out. And you're like, "Yep, my mom's Facebook is my Adam Schefter." That's how everyone knew I was going to Tennessee. DJ, thank you so much for the super.
Also, this is Browns.
Yeah,
but I do want to add. Kenny Pickett was told he will be competing for the starting job.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I don't know if that's real.
Let's talk about that because I listened to Pickett's introductory press conference. I have no issue with this. This is the NFL. It's a big boy league. Everyone should be under the mindset, unless you're backing up Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, you are competing for a starting job. When a team is looking for a quarterback and coming off a 3-win season, or Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, but yeah, there's a very short list of quarterbacks who Jalen Hurts, okay. But I would hope that if you traded for a quarterback, and at this moment, Kenny Pickett is the only healthy quarterback on the roster, he should believe he's competing for the start, and he should want to start.
I think he's currently the starter.
But I'd be disturbed if Pickett went up there and said, "Hey, I'm just here to, support whoever be's the starter." Dude, get a fucking spine. You should be competitive. And he is. So Some people are really running with this. Kenny Pickett says he thinks he's the starter. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. This is professional sports. Everyone, it's truly hard to fathom the competitiveness amongst pro athletes. They are in a tier of competitiveness that I don't think you and I can fully wrap our minds around. Every single one of them should have this belief. It's kind of like when Travis Hunter at the Combine was asked about Shohei Ohtani going both ways and maybe which one's more impressive. I'm not getting the exact wording of the question correct, but something to that effect. And Travis Hunter said, I think what I do is more impressive going both ways on offense and defense. I don't agree with that, but I would like Travis Hunter to say that. You want this guy on your team to think he's the best at what he does. He should be the most competitive person. So people are getting up in arms over Pickett saying, I'm here and I think I'm going to be the starter. Good. You should think that. Otherwise, get out of this profession. That's my TED talk on the segment.
I was going to say, he is the only active quarterback on the roster, correct?
Yeah. He also said he knows they're going to add probably another veteran, and he's looking forward to competing. Cool. That's every other quarterback battle in the NFL. This is a non-story to me. I think people are looking at this going, oh my God, the Browns traded for Pickett to make him their starter. No, Kenny Pickett said himself, I would like to start. Of course he's going to say that. Why wouldn't he say that? He's just going to lay down and go, I'm going to surrender, and I don't even know who I'm surrendering to. I don't even know who they drafted or signed yet, but I'm just going to raise the white flag and go, yep, I'm not going to be the starter. All right, getting passionate about it, but I just thought that was really dumb of people to get worked up over. Some other super chats here. Just chill. Jacoby/Browns had a good O. Check the numbers. Did I say they didn't have? Jacoby Brissett had a good offense. I feel like I'm missing some context here. Just chill. What am I missing? Because did I bash the Jacoby Brissett Browns offense at some point? I don't remember doing that. No, I thought they were somewhat pedestrian, but pedestrians better than a lot of times, a lot of teams. Yeah, okay. Max Nikolenko from our Browns channel. Hi, what's going on, Max? Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're having a good one. Phil, I said first pick in second round, not Sanders. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. My mistake. Can you go back to Phil's original super chat then? I'm convinced Browns take a QB with first pick in I saw first pick in 2. I thought second overall. My bad. And that could be Jackson Dart. I think this, ready? This is going to sound crazy. I almost think there's a better chance Shedeur Sanders goes round 2 than goes top 3. I think teams look at him as a round 2 talent.
At all.
But because of how starved some teams are for QBs and how much attention Shedeur has gotten for his last name, I don't believe if Shedeur's last name was Johnson, he'd be looked as. If it was Shedeur Johnson from Colorado, it'd be like, hey, that's not much different than Jackson Dart from Ole Miss.
Do you think the Steelers and the Giants would be fighting over a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers if Shedeur Sanders was good enough?
Great point.
If Shedeur Sanders was a sure thing, top 3 first-round pick,
yep.
Him and Cam Ward and Jackson Dart and one more, it's like 100%. They would not be fighting over 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
If I had to get the crystal ball out, I can see this a little bit. Shedeur, somewhat like Will Levis a few years, 2-3 years ago, starts to slip. I could see some team trading back at like pick 32 to take him just to get the 5th-year option on him. That might be, if I really had to put some money down, I could see that. I also could see
Callahan.
I could see Travis Hunter falling more towards like 10 than 1. If a team plans to only play him on offense or defense, they may not think this is a good use of a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th overall pick.
You know what the best thing about the draft is, though?
Tell me.
We will have no idea until it happens.
Yeah, that's the best point. I love the draft. The draft is one of my favorite sporting events across all the big sports in college the entire year. Are we all caught up on supers? One more super chat, and then you want to show the surprise? Pedro. 1 second, Pedro. Yeah. Pedro, in an ideal world, where do we go at center? Ryan Nuzul. And you test him out for a year. You got a backup center starting for you in between 2 starting guards. Hopefully it's not some horrible disaster. You can sometimes
What's up, Archangel?
You can sometimes cover up average center play. Like, obviously having a Creed Humphrey or Drew Dolman is great, but having an okay center like Nuzul between all-pro Lindstrom and, rising, ascending Bergeron, that's not going to completely deflate the offense and cause a flat tire. I think you can tread that way. And if it doesn't work after a year, then you make it a bigger priority next offseason. But I don't think you have to make it a big priority in the draft or the rest of free agency this year. You find a new backup center because your backup just became the starter, but that's the course of action for the next 12 months. Pedro, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, so we have a little bit of a surprise. We've had some competitiveness if you've been watching all 3-4 days of free agency with us in terms of super chats and likes, so make sure to like the video if you haven't already. And what we did was we went full Olympic mode, and P. Diddy in the chat, as always. Not as always. Well, as always this week, at least. So, perfect, yeah. Here's what we cooked up. It is an Olympic medal count. What we've done is we went over the gold and silver and bronze totals between super chats and likes over the first 3 days of free agency. The Browns have 3 silvers and 3 bronze. The Broncos have 2 golds, 2 silvers, and 2 bronze. And the Falcons have 4 golds, 1 silver, 1 bronze. Depending on how today's live show goes in terms of interest and movements across the league, this might be our last live show for the week. Maybe we just go tomorrow to get the whole week done. But this is, I think, a nice way to consume the competitiveness that's gone on between these 3 channels that we are all tri-casting on right now. 3 different YouTube channels from Chat Sports seeing the same picture, the same audio. And here is the result of your guys' competitiveness. So I'd say in the way that I like to count Olympic medals is golds first. Sorry, total first, which everyone's got 6 here. So gold then becomes a tiebreaker. So I'd say Falcons is winning this, right? And then it's got to be Broncos, and then it's got to be Browns.
I mean, if you want to do how many points is gold, you could do gold is 3 points.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I feel like we're not giving enough points to gold. Maybe 5, 3, 1.
5, 3, 1.
Yeah, so 20, 23, 24 points for Falcons. 10, 16, 18 points for Broncos. And 9, 12 for Browns. So
yeah,
there's an opportunity for the Browns report to, if you win Super Chat in likes today, you got 2 golds, 3 silvers, 3 bronze. That's going to compete for sure. We got P. Diddy in the chat. This is for you.
Are you catering? What are you catering? That's a big question.
You talking food or okay?
Food.
I thought it was something else. Never mind.
Food. Matthew, food.
Well, for P. Diddy, he might be bringing something else in too.
Yeah.
We got Super Chat on Falcons channel. Carl Edward James, you are out of your mind. Shador falling to the second round. Terrible evaluation, PD. I don't know. I get what you're saying. If so many teams thought that highly of Shador, would the Seahawks have signed Sam Darnold and the Raiders have traded for Geno Smith and the Jets have signed Justin Fields? They were all going to make some level of a quarterback acquisition, but the Raiders give up a third. The Steelers gave Fields the Jets gave Fields $40 million, and the Seahawks traded their starter away to go out and sign Darnold to $100 million. Oh, and the Giants and the Steelers are fighting over 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. The Giants have the 3rd overall pick. Yeah. I get the sense that unless everyone knows the draft script, Cam Ward 1, Shador 2, and that's why they're all fighting for veterans. I get the sense that teams might be preferring some veterans over the guys in the draft. I'm just reading what's in front of me. Broncos channel, what's your thoughts on taking Travion Henderson at pick number 20? I feel it's like a little bit early for him. You know, he split the workload with Judkins last year for the Buckeyes. He's the better back of the two. I really like his receiving abilities as well, which would fit the actual Joker role for Sean Payton. Some people, by the way, have been so mad at me because I wasn't over the moon for the Evan Ingram signing. I think I've been somewhat consistent that I like the signing. I think it's a good signing. You drastically improve your tight end room, but I'm kind of getting nauseous of everyone saying, and Denver has found their Joker. I don't think that's the case, but that doesn't mean I don't like the signing. So as for this part right here, I'd prefer to go, he's probably my RB4 right now. It goes Genty, Caleb Johnson, Omari, and Hampton.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. With all the moves that the Broncos have made, they can kind of just take best player available or best running back available. Like, by the time it gets to 20, I think Omari and Hampton will be there.
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson possibly could be there, depending on what the Bears and Cowboys do.
Right.
I think you get a great running back, and I think you take – there's two people you'd take in front of Travion Henderson. Mm-hmm. He's not a bad running back at all, but with the moves that the Broncos have made, you can kind of go with whoever. It's kind of nice.
Okay. Caleb is saying Browns won Super Chat day 2. I'm looking right now at the end of day 2. Falcons had more, but did Falcons send more after we called it? Did we already say Browns win and then the Falcons sent in more after? Is that what happened? Oh, okay. Did Browns win? I see. Then I made a boo-boo. Because I'm looking at the end here, and the Falcons finished with more, but that might have been after the race was called. Okay. Yes, I think you're right. Oh, I see the fuck up I had. Because Tim Green's in the 500. All right. Lav S is like, stop the count. No revotes. So I think we need to take a gold away from Falcons and give it to Browns. Is that accurate? Right, so you got to give Browns a gold and give Falcons a silver. But Overlord, I'm looking back. I need like a historian.
So it was definitely Browns won because.
And then after the timer was over,
it was because you.
I think Overlord was like I couldn't send it in time.
The bank, remember?
Yes, that's right.
And he couldn't send it in time, so technically, the Browns won that.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Then you offered me up.
That's right. You're absolutely correct. Okay, my mistake. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just. It's been a bit of a blur. And I went to see who had the total at the end, and I forgot that we did overtime, kind of. Harrison Bryant to the Eagles? Okay, we got some signings going on. Former Browns and Raiders tight end going to Philadelphia. By the way, I've run out of I don't have a deep closet of pullover, or quarter zips, and I don't like to wear the same thing back-to-back days. So I'm just rocking the Patagonia I got for Christmas because the best way I can describe Studio D, which we're in, it's kind of like when you go to a hotel. What's the first thing you do, Reed, when you walk into a hotel room? I take the temperature and I bring it down to 65 degrees. I don't like 65 degrees at home, but it's fun to kind of just drop that bad boy. Now, of course, at night you're like, all right, it's actually freezing. Let's get it to I'll bring it back to 68, but this room in an hour or so, it's going to feel, I would say, borderline 60 to 59 degrees.
Which is so weird because living humans in here talking the entire time, it should warm up.
Yeah.
Like my thought process is it should warm up, but it doesn't.
I've got some Browns news. It's official. Malik Collins has signed with Cleveland. That's not a new signing. That was Adam Schefter reported it. Mary Kay said nothing's quite done yet, nothing's finalized. But now the Browns themselves have tweeted out Malik Collins, who was cut by the 49ers, had 5 sacks last year, will come in to replace Dalvin Tomlinson. Can you throw up Tomlinson's signing? Because he joined the Cardinals earlier today or late last night, and he signed a contract worth up to $29 million. Yes, 2-year, $29. So this is $9 million cheaper for Malik Collins, 2-year, $20. Is Malik Collins? I don't think he's in here. Can you let Sam know? Yeah. I don't know if Sam just wanted to wait for it to be official. Oh. Okay. I have an update on Russell Wilson. You guys ready? This is all from Mary Kay. Russell Wilson left the Browns facility about 15 minutes ago after meeting with the team about signing here. He's scheduled to visit with the Giants tomorrow. Making too much out of this. It's 2:40 on the East Coast. Let's say he left at 2:30. It's not a short meeting. Probably got there around 9 a.m. Had a lunch meeting. No dinner? No dinner. I don't know if this is... I've never been a part of these meetings. Is it... I mean, he's going to the Giants tomorrow, so he probably wants to fly to New York tonight and not get up super early tomorrow. But if you want to make something out of nothing, there's something. At a luncheon, I got to envision that these things kind of are like dates where if it's going well, it just keeps going. You go to a secondary location. But if not, whatever the plan was, when that plan has been exhausted, that's the night. That's the day. So they had some parameters set, and again, I'm definitely extrapolating this, but one would think if things were going super duper well, they'd be like, Russ, do you want to stay the night? Let's go dinner. I know a great place. You're gonna love it. That didn't happen. Could be nothing. Could be something. I will also add this: if Russell Wilson's on the Browns next year, he's definitely better than Kenny Pickett. He's better than some other free agent quarterbacks out there. He will 100% get benched. That's just going to be likely what happens. Like, that was a contradictory sentence. Not likely. He will be benched. That would be the most Browns thing to go, we got Russ, we're benching Russ. We're trying Pickett out. The Browns are just incapable of going a season with just one starting quarterback. So something's going to happen. They are cursed at that position. We got some other news. Yeah, NFL news. I love it. By the way, everyone's wondering, I have not seen Overlord. I have not seen him in the chat. I've not heard from him. I don't have a direct line of communication with the guy. Oh, familiar face for some, Sheldon Day, going to the Commanders on another 1-year contract. So I know everyone is praying that Overlord's here. I haven't seen him yet. Right? He's here? Oh, Trey says he's here. Did I miss him? Oh, I see him now. I'm sorry, Overlord. I missed you. We got to catch George Washington super chat. Overlord, I'm sorry. What's the bank problems? Okay, these are the updated medal count here. Browns got a goal day 2. Yeah, that makes sense. This makes it a level playing field. Because, well, not quite level, but this makes it a competitive playing field. Because if the... I was wrong to... This feels like when... you know, this is like when Steve Harvey... I had a Steve Harvey moment, okay? But the fact was, the Browns, they did win by the timer. We have to adhere by the timer, because otherwise we're a lawless society.
Or you can just, Well, because they're saying he had bank problems.
I know, but I got the timer, right? It's kind of like you didn't get the snap off in time. We had issues getting to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but there was an injury.
Yeah. I thought he was saying he has current bank problems, and I was like,
Oh, no, I thought
dude, I'm so
somebody
sorry
said-
to hear that. I don't know how to get back the money that you
So,
sent the
I mean,
people.
to be fair, so tell them the point system.
So I don't know if they're should we do 3-2-1, 5-3-1,
I like the 5-3-1.
5-3-1. If it's a 5-3-1 system, Falcons today got 15 points, 15, 18, 21, 22 points for Falcons today. Broncos breakdown, that'd be 10, 16, 18 points, so 21 to 18, and then the Browns 5, 11, and 14. So 21, 18, 14. If the Browns sweep 2 goals today, they're not going to win because these guys are going to get bronze and silvers. That's what makes it tough. I think it's 21, 18, and 14. Someone who's better at math, let me know if I got that wrong. Maybe put a colon. It looks confusing. Or like in parentheses, because it looks like they have 14 bronze or something. You know what I mean? No moves, by the way. I know that this is a unique live show week because I always try to stay on track and not deviate too much at all because you guys are here for news, rumors, trades, all that stuff. But I also think that when there's nothing going on, instead of just sitting here staring at paint to dry, waiting for Cooper Kupp to sign with the Broncos or for the Falcons to trade for Trey Hendrickson or for the Browns to sign Russell Wilson, we might as well entertain ourselves. Am I wrong? Yes, we should. 1 second. Okay, so really quick, I do have to give a shout out to our friends over at Fanatics for having some awesome deals right now. 25% off sale at chatsports.com/fanatics. Now, these sales can kind of come and go a little bit, so I urge you not to wait too long. Otherwise, you could be paying full price for this t-shirt or this jersey or maybe this Falcons hoodie. So whichever your favorite team is, go to chatsports.com/fanatics. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. We got a couple super chats. So I'm getting a couple of messages from my boss. So I just want to make sure I'm not in trouble. I'm not in trouble. It's actually news that I think Reed might enjoy. We have had an office, like civil war is a extreme way of putting it, but the office has been split into 2 in terms of personnel, and slowly my side of the office has been depleted as people migrate. It's kind of like a merger. We're being bought out by the bigger office crew, and that was always the plan. But while they were doing construction, we had to separate everyone into 2 different groups in 2 different offices, which are across the hall from one another. So like, we basically were on our own island since December 1st, and I was just told I am being transferred to the big group. So I'm rejoining the main bullpen, which of course we all were in together for 3.5 years for the last my entire time here up until the last 2 months. So, but now I got to do my least favorite thing. I have to move, and I kind of like my knickknacks on my desk. I've got a bunch of just little items and things like that. So I got one viewer, I don't know if he's still watching right now. I had a viewer like a year and a half ago mail me a tissue box that just said like, for Steelers fans tears. And I thought that was so cool. So that just sits right in front of my laptop. Super chats coming in here on our Falcons channel. George Washington, I got to ask, is that your real name? Naming someone George Washington is putting a lot on them for the rest of their life. They sign up for anytime they make a reservation. It's like that one Michael Jordan commercial. You know what I mean? Every time the pizza guy comes, it's like, Michael Jordan? Like, yeah. That's a lot to bear. To be like, every single time. Imagine the first day of school, your teacher's like, fucking George in my class? The first president? Is like, oh, okay. I knew it wasn't actual Washington. I don't know.
You're currently doing what he probably hates.
You're absolutely right. But that's not your fault. That's kind of your parents' fault. Do you think the Falcons could draft Shiloh Sanders with a late, maybe day 3 pick? By the way, love the channel. Keep it up, my brother. I love how he had this very nice ending, and I spent the first 5 minutes critiquing his name. But if it's not your name, it's just a nickname for YouTube. I like it. I don't know, honestly, a ton about Shiloh Sanders as a prospect in terms of his strengths, his weaknesses, other than he's not going to go early in the draft. So, sure, Atlanta has 2 7th-round picks, one from the Rams from the Van Jefferson trade, one from the Chargers for the Taylor Heineke trade. Why can't one of those 2 picks be on Shiloh? Also kind of maybe reestablish a good line with Deion Sanders. I think that could be nice, right? Kind of keep the Sanders bloodline in Atlanta with only it being a 7th-round pick. So I like that idea. First President George Washington. Next question or next super chat. Gabe, do you think we could send Pitts over in a trade for Hendrickson still? If so, what's the time frame on that? Also, take Ferguson if he's there for Pitts. Now, once Cincinnati re-signed Mike Gesicki, that really killed the idea of it being a Pitts for Hendrickson swap. They've got a tight end. That'd be overkill at that position. There's only one football. They've got Jamar Chase, too. Like, adding Pitts is not going to be something that balances out losing Hendrickson when you've already got a starting tight end. I just don't think that's a possibility anymore. As for a time frame, Cincinnati really wants a first. No one's interested in a first. Diana Rossini said some teams have come to a fair negotiating number for a contract. So that's not the issue here. Not coming down to dollars and cents with Hendrickson. They're having a tough time working with the Bengals, who want a first, and no team's giving up a first. So if a trade does happen, I think Cincinnati will have to settle for a second. I think that's something that could happen between now and the draft. I don't think it's going to happen during the draft. I think once the draft starts, unless a team is really upset that they didn't get their edge rusher, maybe they kind of do with an A.J. Brown trade with the Titans and Eagles, a Hollywood Brown trade with the Ravens and the Cardinals, but those aren't very common. So I think between now and some point of the draft, that's the time frame, but I don't think there's a huge rush for either side. As for Ferguson, there's a lot of good tight ends, so I like the idea. Overlord. When I had bank problems, I had to close and reopen YouTube, and I don't buy YouTube Premium. Well, Overlord, you're like the biggest MVP of this entire free agency live so far. I mean, you, Dolphin X, and Tim Green, you're on the free agency 2025 Mount Rushmore. Robert and Dalton, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to shortchange anyone. There's just a lot of great names, but Overlord, everyone across all 3 channels is kissing your feet right now. So I get the bank problems. I just don't want to screw the Browns over because when the timer ran out, the score said they were winning. So we gotta find some rules and stick to it and stay consistent. But Overlord, thank you so much. DJ Ray, Falcons should be 22, not 21. There's a 90% chance I counted wrong. 5, 10, 15. And then plus 3, 18, 21. I didn't count the bronze. That's why. So, yeah, 22. 22. Thank you, DJ. I knew I counted one of these 3 wrong. Danielle Gavorsky is in the chat. Great to see you, Danielle. I do want to talk about... Yeah, and then I want to talk about Christian McCaffrey for the Broncos potentially. Christopher, wait, you mean to tell me... Okay, sorry, Chris. You just got blue-balled. Trading Pitts when Penix said he trusts Pitts seems like a mistake. I want to see Pitts play with his new Matt Ryan. Michael Penix is going to say only positive things about his teammates as a rookie. It would be inappropriate, honestly, for Pitts to go out and say anything but positive things about his teammates. He has not been in the league long enough to start having the respect to go, this guy's good, this guy's not. So Penix is only going to say good things about all of his teammates. He would say he loves Ray McCloud. Does that mean he would rather have Ray McCloud over Jamar Chase? No, of course not. But I'm not letting Michael Penix drive the ship whatsoever when it comes to roster building after one season in Atlanta. That's dangerous to me. I remember, imagine like if Kenny Pickett was, or if George Pickens was like, man, I love Pickett. Oh, should we keep Pickett now? Pickens likes him. Oh, now you just put your faith in George Pickens, who's kind of a head case. EHGYO, thank you so much for your super chat. Now, Christopher, you're on screen. Wait, you mean to tell me the Browns don't want a gently used Kirk Cousins? I think the Browns do want a gently used Kirk Cousins. I don't think they want to trade for a gently used Kirk Cousins. I think they would like to sign him in free agency if he's released.
And I don't think the Falcons want to release a gently used Kirk Cousins.
We're going to find out how good of a poker face Atlanta has. Are they truly about to go, we'll pay $10 million? Because here's the thing. They could pay Kirk $10 million and have him be the backup. That would be like, okay. But if they pay him $10 million and then they end up releasing him later on because they were always trying to find a trade and they never got one and they never wanted to keep him as the backup, they're going to have some explaining to do to Arthur Blank and to the fan base after being so adamant that they believe Kirk can be a backup for them.
I don't know if anyone cares out there. You may care. Cooper Flagg did go down with an injury.
I saw that
earlier today.
Looked really bad.
Looked pretty bad. X-rays, negative.
Okay, that's good.
Just a sprained ankle. Says they'll see how bad the swelling is and go from there to gauge his response.
So I'm going to put this out there right now. It's Thursday, March 13th. I think he's out for the rest of the ACC tournament, and that's perfectly fine. I think they won today against Georgia Tech. They're in the semifinals. They could lose that game and still be a 1 seed. Yeah, I would say Flagg probably misses the first game too of the tournament. It's March Madness, I know, but you should be confident that you can beat a 16 or 15 seed without Cooper Flagg. And then that next round, that Saturday or Sunday, so 10 days from now, that's probably when you're hoping to get Flagg back. But it was a nasty one.
Yeah, that was, I've played basketball my whole life, and I know a bad ankle sprain. That one hit the side of his ankle hit the floor.
Ooh. It may end up resulting in he misses the first weekend altogether. And you just hope you can get to the Sweet 16 without him.
Maybe reduce minutes.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And if they really start to
Danny Caudle is asking, do we get a comp pick for Zach Wilson leaving? So Zach, comp picks, if you don't know how they work, here's basically the simplified version of how they work. One, it is based on a formula that is not public to the general public. It is determined based on players you lost in free agency and players you gained in free agency. And if you lost more players than you gained, and those players you lost signed big contracts, had productive seasons, you are compensated. So if you lose players and sign players, there's a chance they could cancel out. If you lost a quarterback for $5 million and you signed a quarterback for $5 million, they're likely going to cancel out. Denver did not sign a quarterback in free agency. They have re-signed Jarrett Stidham. They also have signed Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, and Evan Ingram. Now, Evan Ingram won't count towards the Jags comp pick because they released Evan Ingram. If you release a player, you don't get anything for them in free agency. But Hufanga, Greenlaw, Charvarius Ward, the Niners are going to get a bunch of third and fourth round comp picks next year. Denver has signed some notable contracts, and they've only lost who? Trayman Smith, we can look it up. I don't know if they're going to look at the losses as bigger than the gains. So maybe they get like a 7th round pick in next year's draft. But that's basically the lowdown on how comp picks work. So Atlanta, for example, won't get any comp pick for Grady Jarrett. They released Grady Jarrett. They will get a comp pick, though, for Drew Dahlman. That's, of course, if they don't bring in more guys than they lost in the eyes of this secret formula. They signed Leonard Floyd. They've re-signed Mike Hughes, but they haven't made Deablo. I think Atlanta could position themselves to get a comp pick for Dahlman leaving. George Washington, APD, my dad and granddad all share the same name. That's incredible. You know what's even better? It's 100 times better that this is a family name.
Yeah.
It wasn't like your parents just decided, hey, let's go rogue. Let's do a president.
I mean, are we sure it's not the actual George Washington?
I feel pretty good about that one.
Do we know the race of George Washington? We don't know. I'm just kidding.
I'm going to let you try and land that plane on your own. But if Penix gets dinged, who do you like in the draft to come behind him? I don't think Atlanta is taking a quarterback in this draft. Maybe they fall in love with one in the 4th round. They decide to take him. That'd be the only time they could do that. Or the 7th, but you're not finding anyone good in the 7th, let's be honest, except for Brock Purdy. I would think Atlanta, if they don't have Kirk Cousins as the backup, who was the Illinois UDFA they signed last year, who is kind of on and off their roster at stretches? Nathan Paddock? No, Paddock. John Paddock from Illinois. They might just go with the UDFA QB and a very cheap veteran. But they are in a spot where if they lose Kirk Cousins, they do need to find a real backup. And I don't think John Paddock, from Illinois, is cut out for that job. I think Penix would be mentoring Paddock. But sometimes you see quarterbacks get signed that are really, smart, but just not great athletes. And they know the position well, but they just can't make the really big throws. George, thank you so much for your super chat. Are we all caught up on supers? Yeah, I think so. We are. We got some Broncos news. Fire away.
The Michael Wilhoit? That whole thing with the punching the cop?
Yeah. Oh, Michael Wilhoit. Yeah.
He said he denied diversion deal after allegedly punching cop.
Denied diversion deal?
I don't know what that means.
What's a diversion?
Diversion.
Like setting up a diversion?
Diversion deal.
I don't know what a diversion deal is.
I don't know either.
What's a diversion deal?
Let's look it up.
The story, if you don't know, is the Broncos linebackers coach, Michael Wilhoit, went to the Denver airport, one of the worst airports in the country.
Really?
Parked the car. I don't really understand. Let's just go with, this is the alleged story. And for the sake of the storytelling, let's just say it's true for now. But, of course, it's his word versus someone else's. But parked the car at the pickup drop-off area and got out of the car. That right there is insane behavior. You don't leave the car at an airport. It's obviously very sketchy for everyone else there. And 2, it's the most fast-moving place. In and out, in and out, in and out. Cop came up and was like, you can't leave the car here. Wilhoit did not like this from the cop. Started a little bit of a
tussle.
More of like a
altercation.
Altercation. They bumped Wilhoit bumps his chest to chest, titty to titty. And now he's like, cop's like, you can get physical with me? So he tasers him. Wilhoit rips the taser off and drives away and then gets arrested later. I'm like, you kind of had this coming when you got out of the car at the airport? Like, unless you get out of the car to load bags, then, and I've never seen someone get in trouble for getting out of the car to put a bag in a trunk. But got out of the car to go inside, you can't do that at the airport.
Okay.
Yeah.
A diversion deal in a legal context is an agreement between a defendant and a prosecutor that suspends or dismisses criminal charges, often in exchange for the defendant completing specific conditions like rehabilitation or restitution, allowing them to avoid criminal conviction and record.
Okay, so Michael Wilhoit got a really good lawyer who got this deal. That's what I learned here.
But
not a bad outcome for him other than he lost his job.
He denied diversion deal.
He denied it? Oh.
It says Wilhoit denied
he wants to go to trial?
Deal.
Would that be the next step?
So the diversion deal.
There's something like a plea agreement, right?
The diversion deal is basically like you can not. Basically community service or probably like parole or something like that, of like not facing criminal charges.
I don't think I'm understanding it correctly because I'm looking at the chat and Quentin's got a good breakdown of it, and if he says a nice choice, then I'm going to go with Quentin's assessment on this situation because I did not grow up watching Law and Order, so that's kind of the drama there. But yet. Tough. I don't want to say like anything goes. Once you get out of the car, you're signing up for trouble.
Yeah, I don't know.
At an airport.
You never get out of the car.
I came close.
I'm nervous to be in the car.
I came close once. Can I tell the story? In college, I had a summer internship with the Tennessee Smokies, the Cubs AA affiliate, and that was an unpaid internship. I don't know if that's legal or not, but yeah, well. We did a lot of work. Anyway, I had a great time. No regrets. So that was a job that was like from 1 p.m. till the game ended. And the games usually end around 10:30. So I needed an actual job for money. Yeah, the games usually start at 7 p.m. and our work would end around 10:30.
I was like, a baseball game going 6 hours?
No,
what are we
sorry.
talking about?
We get to the ballpark at 1 p.m. and then the game starts at 7. Game ends at 10, we'll say, and then we have like 30 minutes of work after that. Great job, loved it. Was supposed to come back the next summer to do an actual paid gig there, and then COVID wiped out minor league baseball. So, bummer. But to pay bills and have like walking around money, I took a job in the mornings. I lived in Knoxville, went to Tennessee. I would deliver lost luggage from the airport because the ballpark was like 20 minutes east of Knoxville, like a 25-minute drive. So sometimes I was already heading that direction. Well, anytime I was going to the ballpark, I was going that way. And one of the guys who worked at the ballpark, who was older and retired, did this gig for fun, kind of like people who retire that do Uber or Lyft. And I was like, can I do this? And he's like, yeah. So he got me hooked up. So I would deliver lost luggage from like 9 a.m. to noon and then go to the ballpark. And the Knoxville airport's very small, right? There's just one pull-up and like 2 doors. But you had to go inside to the American Airlines and United areas where they have the lost luggage. And you just pick up the bags and bring them to your car. They usually had like 10 bags. And you had to pay for parking. So I once like rolled down the window and asked the cop, there's no one here, by the way. I was like, can I just leave my car at the end of the line here, run in and pick up my bags and come back? He's like, no. I was like, I get it. I understand why. If something were to happen, it'd be a very bad look for the cop to be like, this guy had to go. Well, if I was a terrorist. Yeah. That'd be a big Homeland Security issue. Yeah. And so I had to park every single time. I had to pay for parking for, which they charge, by the way, by like 10 to 15 minute increments. It was a small amount of time. So I was racing, like shipping bags back and forth to avoid an extra $1. And then I would embark and drop bags off. It was an interesting job. Everyone's, I think, had a weird job at some point.
All right, back to football.
Enough for story time.
Super chats.
Super chats coming in here, and no signings. Of course, the moment any signings happen, I'm going to talk about that immediately. So if I don't talk about football for a second, it's because there's not much football news to be had here.
We got Bradley from the Broncos channel.
Yep.
Give me 1 second. Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Bradley. Damian Pierce could be a good fill at running back if the price is right. He's been overshadowed by Joe Mixon. He has not been overshadowed by Joe Mixon. I'm going to stop you there. They brought in Joe Mixon to replace Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce was, what was he? He wasn't a second, but he was a good draft pick out of Florida, and he was supposed to be like some fantasy legend, and then he sucked. The only running backs, I don't have a great Rolodex of pass blocking running backs, but the only running backs I'd be interested in signing if I were the Broncos would be pass blocking running backs. You should not be putting that on your rookie running back's plate. You should have someone there who on 3rd and 12, when you know you're passing, can go, hey, Rook, I will take care of the blitzing linebacker here. I'm much better at that. I've been here for 5 years.
What did you say?
I think he was a 3rd round pick.
Fourth round.
Fourth round? Okay, I was like, second's too early.
107.
Yeah, went to Florida. So I don't know if Damien's a good pass blocker. I don't think he is. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. But that'd be the only running backs I'm interested in if I'm the Denver Broncos.
I think the Eagles getting A.J. Dillon, I think the Broncos could have picked him up.
That could have been a good one. You're right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Bradley, thank you for your super chat. I see a few more have flown in here. We got Ronnie on our Falcons channel. Oh, 1 second, Ronnie. Sorry about that. Uh-huh. I'll tell you what. Being live for an hour right now, it feels like it's been 15 minutes. It just flies by. Yeah. That's also so we're in one of the new studios, like I mentioned. There's no TV in the studio, which they're going to have to reconfigure the studio because we need TVs in every studios.
All of our lighting for the studio is all on little stands. Usually we have them hanging from the ceiling, but given that there's 4 or 5 tiles missing from the ceiling, I don't think we're ready for that yet.
I don't think the TV's going to go there.
But I think the TV's just going to go right here. It's just going to be a big one.
That looks like a home for a TV.
Also, you're looking off screen.
No, I think they're going to move things around. That looks like where a TV goes.
Oh, yeah. Well, green screen.
Yeah, you're right. I have to be here. Then what the hell is that for? That looks like a TV home. Does it not?
I'm sure, yeah. But just another outlet that has to be there.
I don't know. In the wall, halfway up?
So what I'm thinking is...
This is making horrible radio. They can't see shit. They see a black line, a black screen.
Ceiling lights hanging, and then a TV stand right in front of your camera.
That wouldn't work. Cause where's that going to go then?
No, the TV's going to be higher.
Hanging from the ceiling?
Not hanging from the ceiling. Just
above this camera?
Yeah.
On what?
What else do you think?
What stand do you know is a
No, but I'm saying what else would be
It
reasonable?
won't be that. I'll tell you that much.
All the way back there?
I don't know, but it won't be that.
Oh, it's got to be back there. It's going to be back there.
It won't be that. I promise you that. That makes more sense. All right, this made for awful HGTV. Ronnie, what's our priority position this draft for Atlanta? Edge. Edge. You're 32nd in sacks since 2021. I don't give, other than Will Johnson, there's no one that's going to move the needle for me at 15 other than a pass rusher. Come up with your big board, by you, I mean the Falcons, of your favorite pass rushers, and it's very simple. It's kind of like a fantasy football draft. You got your top 5 guys, have your big board. As players get picked, you cross them off. And you know what? When you're on the clock, you take the highest name on your big board at edge. The exception would be for me, but probably not for Atlanta, Will Johnson out of Michigan. Ronnie, thank you so much for your super. Braden from our Browns channel. If the Browns get Kirk Cousins, I think you mean Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson, do we still look at QB or do we get Travis Hunter at 2? And who do you think will be Browns RB1 next season? Great questions all together here, Braden. I would think a Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson acquisition does not point to that team going for a quarterback. And by that team, I'll say between the Browns and the Giants. The reason being is if you're Russell Wilson, take him for a moment. You have 2 options, Browns or Giants, it appears, right? The biggest thing you're probably asking is, do you plan on taking a quarterback? If so, I don't want to be here. Now, maybe the team's going to lie to him, but that's not a great start to the relationship. We saw that in Atlanta. I don't know if I don't think Kirk Cousins even asked if they were going to take a quarterback. What a weird question to ask at that moment. You're giving me $160 million. Doesn't seem like you know what I mean? So he probably was just blindsided by it. It wouldn't be a blindside to Russ if the Browns or Giants took a quarterback at 2 or 3. But I would think Russell Wilson would prioritize a team that's not about to draft his replacement. So he's gone after 1 season. That would be my thinking. But Browns or Giants, if they sign Russ, they could easily just lie. Go, we're going to do what's best for the team, right? They may not even have to lie. They could just tell Russ. If both teams tell Russ, hey, when it comes to draft, we're going to do what's best for the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns long term. And that's that. And then Russ has to decide whether or not to think they're going to go quarterback. He has to hop on the mock draft simulators and make the prediction. As for Kirk Cousins, this one's a little bit more complex. If the Browns trade for Kirk Cousins, which I would expect that to cost next to nothing, it would be a favor to the Falcons to get that contract off their books. Kirk Cousins with his new team, say the Browns, would agree to a new contract. Kind of like when, agree to a vet minimum of, we see this happen a lot. Like Stephon Diggs last year. He got dealt from the Buffalo Bills to the Houston Texans. No. First thing he did with Houston was he agreed to a new, reworked one-year contract. This is not uncommon. The Browns would be meeting with Cousins' agent and say, if we trade for Kirk, here's our revamped contract. Would you agree to this if we made a trade for him? If the answer is no, then they don't go any further in trade discussions. So let's say Kirk goes, yep, I understand my situation. I will agree to a new one-year cheap contract. And the Falcons go, it just cost a 7th rounder. Take him off our hands, and we get much better salary cap relief than $65 million in dead cap than if we release him, that's awaiting us. So if you're trading for Kirk, I don't know if Kirk, who has a no-trade clause, would waive his no-trade clause to be in the exact same situation he was in Atlanta in Cleveland. He might just go, oh, the Browns are taking a quarterback? I'm not getting traded there then. Not happening, right? Beggars can't be choosers, so he may not have any other options and go, whatever, I'll battle with this rookie. If no other team wants my services and this is the only way I can continue playing in the NFL, so be it. But that's basically the rundown. As for Travis Hunter, I don't think it'd be a good pick for the Browns. I think he's a phenomenal football player that's probably going to go down as a great college player. I'm not confident in it translating to the NFL because I don't believe you can play both ways at a high enough level on both sides to warrant the 2nd overall pick. I don't think Travis Hunter is going to be one of the best receivers or corners in football. What makes him really, special is he's super good or very good at both, but I don't think anyone's looking at him as the best receiver in this draft. So teams could look at him as the best corner in this draft. Do you see corners go 2nd overall very often? Who are the last few corners to go top 5 in the draft? Denzel Ward went 4th. Derek Stingley go 4th. Jeff Okudah. Round 1, top 5. How many corners have gone top 5? I think Derek Stingley went 4. I thought Sauce Gardner went 5 or 6. Denzel Ward went 4th. J.C. Horn went like 8th. What was the other corner I just said? Ward, Stingley. Oh, Jeff Okudah went 3rd to the Lions. Surtain went 9th. It's not common for corners to go that early. And if the Browns think he's a corner, I think 2nd might be the earliest a cornerback has ever been taken. I don't know of any corners going 1st overall. And I can't think of a corner going 2nd. Right? Well, let's find out. Has a corner ever gone 2nd in the draft? Dun, dun, dun. We're about to find out. Okay. 1 second. Making for good radio right now. Bear with me. I don't think so. If it has happened, it's been before I was born. Okay. Cornerback. Draft status. Round 1. Pick 1 to 5. Let's first see the top 5 because it's not common. All right, you ready? Devin Witherspoon went 5th. Sauce Gardner went 4th. Derek Stingley went 3rd. Yeah, I knew Stingley went 1 pick before. I just couldn't remember where exactly they went. Okay. Jeff Okudah went 3rd. Denzel Ward went 4th. Jalen Ramsey went 5th. Patrick Peterson went 5th. Terrence Newman to the Cowboys. Remember him? He went 5th in 2003. Quentin Jammer went 5th. Since 2000, Jammer, Newman, Patrick Peterson, Jalen Ramsey, Denzel Ward, Okudah, Stingley, Sauce Witherspoon. So 9 corners have gone top 5 since 2000. The earliest was 3rd, so second's not like that far away, but no one's gone first 2. That is a fact. Has anyone been 1st or 2nd? No. No one's ever gone 1st or 2nd as a corner. So it'd be history. It would be the first time in NFL history a team takes a cornerback 2nd overall. But Travis Hunter is a unicorn. He would be the one to break that.
Yeah. But wasn't Deion a unicorn?
Yeah.
Where did he go?
I don't remember where Deion. Deion went round 1. Pick 5.
5.
Yeah. Not far behind.
And then the last part of his question.
And who do you think will be Browns RB1 next season?
Jerome Ford.
Jerome Ford and a rookie. I think the Browns might. I don't think they should, but they have not been prioritizing running back a lot, but they also move in silence. They have the first pick in round 2. They open up day 2 with pick 33. Maybe they just go with the best running back that came out of the first day.
Depends on what the board looks like.
Yeah, but if they want to go running back, that's a good time. They could. I could see the Browns also trading that 33rd overall pick. That just seems like something the Browns would do. Demented Tree from our Broncos stream. 1 second, Demented Tree. If I were to theoretically join Chat Sports and take 2 of your 3 channels, this has been like the most ongoing thing, and I kind of get why. What channel would most like? What channel would you? I think you most like to keep. I'm coming for your job. All right, let me give you an actual candid answer. If you join Chat Sports Demented Tree, I would say your job for the first 2 months would start as a producer and helping hosts and channels get as much content out. If you do a good job at that, what I do like about this company a lot is it's very easy to rise up. So I started off as a producer, by the way, for what it's worth. I was a hybrid producer-host, but a lot of producing. After that point, you would take over a smaller channel that does not have a dedicated host. So we've added a couple of new channels since the start of the new year. A Packers channel, a Bills channel. You might take one of those. They also might look for you to start a brand new channel like the Packers and Bills channel. So that could be in the mix for you as well. I don't think you would take over one of my 3 channels, though. So from a pure realistic standpoint, and I'm not just like safeguarding them, I would, and again, this isn't me like being insecure. Based on the way channel ownership has worked at Chat Sports, that'd be unlikely. But if Demented Tree, I guess you'd want the Broncos one. So for the sake of your super chat, you and I can tag team the Broncos channel. Are we all caught up on super chats? I think so. Do we want to look at a quick updated leaderboard for the super chats and likes? No NFL news here. While Reed updates that, I will say this. Free agency is a fun time because sometimes things get tossed out that sounds ridiculous. I remember when I was driving to Indianapolis for the Combine, I was reading this email from The Athletic from Diana Rossini and Jacob Robinson about some of the things they're hearing. And Rossini talked about some receivers who could get traded. And at the very end, she said 49ers, Brandon Ayuk. And I looked to Chase Sr., our 49ers host, and I said, oh my God, Diana put the wrong name. She meant Deabo. Deabo is the receiver for the Niners that could get traded. She didn't put the wrong name. And I was like, what a mistake. So every so often there are things where I'm like, this is just outlandish. Christian McCaffrey was one of those things that I thought was outlandish. Give it 48 hours and Christian McCaffrey's name is coming up. Not in serious league circles or anything like that. More of just Twitter and, sports radio, things like that. But people are looking what the 49ers are doing. And the 49ers might be looking at the way Christian McCaffrey is dealing with injuries. They gave him an extension not long ago, though. I don't know financially how feasible and rewarding it is to trade him. But if the Broncos picked up the phone and made a call, I don't think the Niners hang up. I do think they have a conversation. I think the answer is still no. But as for Denver trading for McCaffrey, it would make more sense, I feel like, if Bo Nix was going into like year 4. You know what I mean? If Bo Nix had gone to the playoffs his first 2 years, say, and won a playoff game, but lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game or something like that. And you're like, all right, let's do it. Not that we haven't seen good things from Nix in year 1, but with McCaffrey's age, it may not be good timing overlap. So right now, Denver is leading. I combined leading and winning. Denver is leading our Super Chat battle. Falcons is in second. Browns is in third. And we'll look at the like battle in just a moment. For everyone that's able to Super Chat, I really appreciate, obviously, your support of the channel. And I just got to assume everyone's kind of enjoying the competitive nature right now. Atlanta continues to dominate in likes. Meanwhile, it's neck and neck here, but the Browns have the slight lead over the Broncos in likes for a silver medal. So right now it's gold and bronze for Denver, silver and bronze for Cleveland, and gold and silver for Atlanta. Chris, no Broncos news for the moment. We'll see if some signings come in. Things have calmed down. I don't think there's this like urgency to go out and sign this player because someone else might sign him if you don't sign him. Teams are slowing down a little bit. Is Overlord still here? Dave Joseph is in the chat. Great to see you, Dave. Any news? I want there to be news. No news. Damn. Change the team to make it your team. Make it generic across the board. Yep, nothing yet. Naquan Jones agreed to a 1-year contract with the Chargers. Didn't he go to Michigan State and play for the Titans? Is that the same Naquan Jones? For anyone that's just tuned in, by the way. Oh, we got another super chat from Dalton. Predict your team's 2025 record. Reed, you want to give your predictions for the 3 teams here? Browns, Broncos,
Sure.
Falcons. We're doing a TriCast for anyone that's joined recently.
I forget that I should probably have a thing that says that.
No, it's okay. But yeah, we're streaming the same video, same stream to 3 different YouTube channels that I cover here at Chat Sports. All so, right. Reed, give me your Browns win total. How many wins for the Cleveland Browns after winning 3
total games?
After winning 3 games last year. The NFL is the most up and down league. You go from worst to first, first to worst all the time.
It's tough because I feel like I'd have a better idea after the draft.
Fair, right? I mean, you don't even know who's starting at quarterback.
Fluid. This is a very fluid record.
Right. That's fair.
Right now, I would go 4-14.
Okay, I was thinking 6.
Or 4-13, I mean.
Yeah, I was thinking 6 wins.
I give them 1 extra. If they get a solid quarterback, and when I mean solid, I mean definitive. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, that's the starter. Or that's the 2 people competing for the starting job. Then I'd give them a couple extra, depending on who it is. And then how they do in the draft. I would say ceiling, 9.
Okay. Makes sense.
Floor, 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking 6 wins. I think they could double the win total, which isn't saying a whole lot, starting at 3. But I think there's enough talent on that team to flip some of the results from last year with just slightly better quarterback play and, lack of penalties and, a better run game. So I'll go with 6 wins for the Browns. All right. How about the Falcons?
Falcons.
They won 8 and 9 last year. How many wins for ATL?
8-9 could well be their 2025 record.
They've only had losing seasons under Terry Fontenot. Will they get a winning season?
I would go 10-7, compete for a wild card.
I'm gonna go 9-8.
9-8.
Yeah, I just don't like 10 wins for Penix in really his first season with a defense that's still not going to be at a a mid-level. I think like Atlanta's defense probably last year ranked 1 to 32.
Yeah.
Probably around like 26.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there were a few more worse
And
defenses.
it was supposed to be like top 15.
Kind of, I guess. I don't know.
In our eyes.
And I think they can go from a 26 defense to like a 19th or 18th.
Yeah.
Like just outside the top half. I think the next. So I'll go 9-8 for Atlanta.
I say 10-7 compete for a wild card because I think the NFC South is going to be better.
Yeah.
Panthers
are not going to be a walkover. They beat Atlanta in Week 18.
They looked good at the end of the year. Falcons are going to be better than last year, and Bucks. The Bucks are going to be around the same, but they were pretty good last year. And I think Baker takes another step forward. Mm-hmm. But I think the Saints are still confused. But I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive.
10-7 Denver Broncos. How many wins for Bo Nix in year 2?
So they were 10-7 last
year.
Yeah,
10-7 last year.
I have very high hopes for the Broncos.
Okay.
I would say the Denver Broncos in 2025 go 13-4.
13-4?
13-4.
That's ambitious, not gonna lie.
It is.
I'm thinking 10-7 again.
Okay. The additions that they've made
It's not trying to be a hater, but the NFL's tough, and the AFC West got better. The Chargers are going to be better in year 2 than year 1 under Harbaugh. The Raiders are going to be better, and they're going to be playing a tougher schedule. Like, you play your schedule based on where you finish in the standings. Well, actually, I lied. They're not playing a tougher schedule. They finished 3rd behind the Chargers. I think they were 4th the year before that. So, they weren't. Were they 4th? No, they were 3rd again. So, take back the tougher schedule part. But I'll go 10, maybe probably post-draft. If they get a stud running back, I'll be at 11 wins.
Okay.
If they get Warren or Genty, I'll be at 11.
So I see it like this. The AFC West. Remember how the last what?
Jets signed a boring tight end.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I got a notification. Stone Smart. That's not a person.
That is not a person.
That is not an NFL player. No way.
The AFC West is slowly becoming bad.
The AFC West?
Yeah.
So like crumble cookies right now, how do the Raiders get better? I think they got a better head coach in Pete Carroll than Antonio Pierce. I think the Antonio Pierce hire was so fueled by not hiring Rich Bisaccia that they felt they did an overcorrection. And I think that Geno is better than Aiden O'Connell. We have some news? Oh, he just came and hang out?
I just want to come check out how the Arctic is going.
Yeah.
Dude, come back. I would say at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
They turn on some air conditioning at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. and it's just blowing down freezer air.
We got to figure out the AC. There's one room that AC.
We were debating this, by the way. Is the TV going to go there? Do you know? What's going to go there then? Backup TV? Oh, okay. All right. Couple of super chats coming in here.
My last thought was the Raiders are going to think they're going to be better.
Nope.
They're not going to be better.
Dude,
the Chiefs.
How many games did the Raiders win last year? 5? 4? Did they win 4 games? They won 2 towards the end.
Jags, right?
I think they will have more than 4 wins next year.
No more than 7.
Okay, that's fine, but 6 wins would be 2-win improvement.
That's huge for them.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the Raiders are going to be better because it's hard not to be after the last year they had.
They think they're winning the division.
Well, the Raiders fan base is my first.
What's worse, Raiders or Cowboys fan base?
It was my first month here. I think it was. Yeah, wasn't Megan Payton here my first? Yeah, so I remember this. We had Megan Payton work at Chat Sports. That's Sean Payton's daughter. For about I don't know, 2 months.
6 weeks or 6 months ish.
Oh, 6 months?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So I worked with her.
Yeah,
every
you
day.
did it. So the whole football season of 2021. She covered the Seahawks. Anyone else?
Maybe Steelers.
Maybe Steelers. Anywho, I bring this up because Megan Payton worked remotely, which is a very rare thing here. But she'd come to Dallas every so often for maybe like training or whatever. And I also did not know that was Sean Payton's daughter for the first week. Like, I remember saying to her, Peyton, like Sean. And I thought it was just making conversation. Did not know that was Sean Payton's daughter.
Ta-da.
And then, like, after she left, someone said, Sean Payton. I was like, that's his daughter? I felt like the world's biggest idiot. But I was new, so I
Look at the
also...
moment.
I think when you're new at a company, it's a speak when spoken to type of thing. You know, keep a low profile. But I bring this up because when she was here visiting, the Raiders chat and Raiders watch party, whatever it was having an absolute chaotic palooza in super chats.
Naturally.
And she was like, why are they going crazy? And Sam said to her, and I remember this like it was yesterday, the Raiders fan base is the most financially irresponsible fan base. And it's so true. It's
so
not even just from Chat Sports. Raiders fans are so irresponsible.
A bit intellectually compromised, if I might say so myself.
Yeah.
But they love their Raiders.
They do.
Whether it's a 4-win team, a 7-win team, a wild card team, I mean, that's all they've been in the last 25 years.
Jurassic recaps: the Browns have not signed anyone today.
It's been a
Should
slow
we
day.
look at some of the super chats? Oh, I mean, like obviously it's gone,
pull up the,
downhill from day 1 to day 4.
Here, I could tell you how much we've done today. Where are we right now? We have had a grand total today of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, maybe 16 to 18 signings, with the most notable one being Mason Rudolph. Unless you count it, Raheem Mostert is more notable.
Yeah, no, I'd go quarterback's going to
Boring
lead.
day.
Uh-huh.
Boring day.
Shout
out Broncos fans, though.
Yep. A few super chats on our Brown stream I want to hit. Yeah. We have a trade. It does not involve any of the 3 teams here, but the Vikings are trading guard Ed Ingram to the Texans, who traded away their guard Kenyon Green to the Eagles. So Minnesota moving on from a former second-round pick, and the Texans replacing Kenyon Green or adding some competition most likely. But we have a trade between the Vikings and the Texans for a guard, and I'm guessing a 6th-round draft pick. Dalton Sipes from our Broncos channel. What do you think about the Broncos drafting Devin Neal? That's the Kansas running back, right? I want to make sure I'm not mixing him up. Yeah. So, yeah, Devin Neal, I don't think the stats this past season jump out at you as like, whoa, that's a great player. The guy's, wherever he ends up, if he has some level of success, he's going to be there for a long time. I just know that Devin Neal went to Kansas football. He's from Lawrence, Kansas, stayed home, went to Kansas before he was even semi-good, and was the leader of that what's it called? College, not organization, but that program. That program getting back on track. Lance Leipold gets a lot of the credit, and he deserves a ton of it. But Evan Neal, not the Giants guard. Devin Neal, instrumental in Kansas football getting to where it is right now. He does have some good receiving ability to his game. I think if Denver decides to wait on a running back, he could be a really fun pick, maybe in round 4. Dalton, thank you so much for your super and always for supporting and joining the show. We have a Falcons super chat, and then we'll get to some Browns super chat. Jeebus H. Christ. Which team signs O'Long Johnson? I think he signs with Mike Oxlong. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Is this the Is there no Long Johnson that I don't know about? I can't think of no Long Johnson. Jeebus, am I missing someone here? Let me know. Oh, was it a 6? I said yes. Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I just went off of Rappaport's tweet that didn't have the details in it. Or is it Schefter's tweet? No, I just went off of Rappaport's tweet. Braden, let's see your Riz faces. I'm never good at this stuff. Right? Is it the one finger? It's got to be the Rizzler. Right? It's the blue steel kind of like, what does he do? I think he has a little chin action afterwards. I'm kind of happy those guys are out of the spotlight. They were a fun sensation. They only existed starting a year ago, by the way. They just celebrated their first year anniversary. So incredible, rise to fame. But we can leave the Costco guys to 2024. They're going to make great trivia, though. I look forward to that. It'll be kind of like the ALS water bucket challenge and the Costco guy, like put these guys in chronological order. It'll be fun in a decade to talk about. David Everett, I would do this if I were in charge of the Browns. Re-sign Joe Flacco and Nick Chubb, draft Abdul Carter at number 2, trade up from 33 to 12 or 13, draft Jack Sawyer. I don't think Jack Sawyer is going to go round 1. I think there's a lot to like about Sawyer when it comes to his tenacity, his motor, and flat out the production too, right? But I don't think teams are looking at him as, hey, the athlete's incredible and the production's through the roof. We can take him in round 1. I think he's going to be a round 2 guy. So I don't think you have to move up all that much. Plus, if you did trade up to 13, say, from 33, you're giving up a first-round pick next year. Something I would not do. As for Flacco and Chubb, I would say Flacco is not going to come back on account of Andrew Berry would have to admit it was a mistake not to re-sign him last year. And all signs are pointing towards the Browns. I should say all signs are pointing towards the Browns letting Chubb go. I think they're going to let Chubb test the market. And I think Chubb wants to come back. Unless he gets a really good offer elsewhere, it does kind of feel like a separation could be coming. Ooh, Alexander, can I guess? I haven't seen. Is he signed some? Oh, fuck, it's right there. Sorry, I didn't see it.
You said, "Can I guess?" Then looked at the screen.
Well, I didn't know it'd be on screen.
Oh.
We've just been on a cycle. Alexander Madison. The real problem with Madison was he had the same hairstyle as Dalvin Cook and like the same body figure. It was tough to separate the two when they were on the Vikings together. Because you'd think if you had Dalvin Cook on your fantasy team, he just scored. And then you're like, that's not his number. It was very deceiving. David, appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. Quick shout out to all the awesome deals going on over at Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/Fanatics. If you want to get a jersey, you want to get a t-shirt, maybe you want to get a hoodie, whatever you're looking for, visit Fanatics at chatsports.com/Fanatics. Got to use this link to support your favorite channel, and you can stumble across some really good sales, some really good deals, because these deals and sales of Fanatics come and go pretty quickly, so I don't want you guys to push it off and miss out later. Chatsports.com/Fanatics. That link is in the description of today's live show.
I have a question for the Falcons fans.
Okay.
All right.
Question for Falcons fans, but everyone else is allowed to partake. Do you believe in Michael Penix? I do. I remember I was put in a really tough spot last year when the Falcons drafted Penix, because you can go back and find the video and watch. I probably said verbatim, I like Penix a lot as a quarterback. I liked him a lot as a prospect. He had incredible downfield accuracy and strength, and that's a tough thing to find, and you could probably iron out some of the other things, over the course of his early career. But the pick and the signing of Cousins just did not make sense to me. If you liked Penix so much, then don't sign Kirk Cousins, right? I don't think anyone's at risk of Penix going 1 through 7. So I think Penix is going to be a good NFL quarterback. I think he's going to be a flamethrower. I think he might be a better version of Jameis Winston. fewer interceptions. I don't know who's a stronger arm. They both have strong arms. Jameis is a big arm, though. Yeah, Jameis is a strong arm. The arm, like, whenever we talk about quarterback arm talent, it's always kind of funny to me because, like, it's kind of like a baseball pitcher. They all have strong arms. You know what I mean? It's like, sure, maybe he can't throw 100 miles per hour, but we're going to act like 93 is chump change. But I'm in, so I believe in Penix. Matthew Taylor from our Falcon stream. What's up, Mr. Peterson? Nice to see you this fine day. Any news on Kirko change? No new information on Cousins. The latest, I would say, true news we got, meaning it was fact. Kirk Cousins met with Arthur Blank in a desperation move to go to a different team. And that was a week ago. Maybe even more than a week ago. So that would be the latest true, actual, hard, cold fact news. Since then, it's just been connecting dots of the Browns are bringing Russell Wilson in for a visit. Does that indicate that they believe Cousins won't be released? You know what I mean? That's just speculation. But that's a lot of what sports is during the offseason. So, Matthew, thank you so much for your super chat. Always fun to see you in the chat. Greatly appreciate it. Hater from our Broncos stream. Shout out to Hater. Appreciate your super chat. Helping the Broncos stream, by the way, add on to their first place lead right now in our super chat battle for day 4 of NFL free agency. We've got another super chat coming in. Carlos from south of the border. Do you think Kyle Pitts will stay in Atlanta in 2025 with his $10 million salary? I think Atlanta would be open to trading him. I don't know if anyone's giving up a fair enough offer for the Falcons to feel compelled. So before free agency, I wouldn't say like absolute about him getting dealt, but I was more confident than not, I would say is a good way to classify it. Now, it's only been a few days. Trades are still going to happen. But it doesn't seem as likely as I would have thought maybe a month ago. How about that, Carlos? But I don't disagree that $10 million is, you're about to give $10 million to Kirk Cousins in 4 days. So, $20 million to two guys who don't have big roles on this team right now. They might decide to save some of that money. Carlos, 200 pesos. Thank you so much for your super chat. Let me know in Mexico where you're tuning in from, by the way. My grandparents retired to Guadalajara, and as a little kid, going down there to visit was the absolute best. We go horseback riding. Haven't been to Mexico in a long time, though. All right, I think we're all caught up on supers at this point. Yeah. So Reed can update the totals in a moment. I'll just get some shout-outs in the meantime. Yeah, and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, go fuck yourself. Like, come on. Click the button. It's free coverage. No one's giving you guys this much NFL free agency live coverage on YouTube than we are. It's 4 straight days. We have been live at this point now for about 15 hours. 15 hours live. Hanging out with you. Carlos says Sinaloa, which I only know from Narcos. And I don't think I know it for the right reasons. But I do appreciate you watching, Carlos. Andy, any thoughts on Cooper Kupp replacing Elijah Moore? Guys, I don't think Cooper Kupp is as big of a fish as people think he is in their heads. I think Cooper Kupp, I've kind of walked it, not back, but I've lowered what I think he's going to sign as the days have gone on, especially with Hopkins getting $5 million. I think Kupp's going to probably get around $8-ish million. I mean, can we throw up his stats over the last 4 years real quick? Sorry. The lack of availability is a concern, and I do think he is just not as good as he once was, which isn't unexpected given age and the injuries. I mean, look at it. He's missed 10 total games from 2023 to 2024. That's 10 games over 34, right? That's a good chunk of the pie right there. And then he missed, let's say, not quite half of 2022, but he really hasn't even been super close to 1,000 yards. Like 2022, he would have gotten to if he played the whole year, but missing that many games with injury is noteworthy. And I think the lack of separation ability the last few years is a fair concern. Now, I still think if you can get 700 yards and 6 touchdowns, that's not bad production, right? In 12 games, you'd hope for him to play a little bit more, but if you could just get 14 games out of him, and you get 850 yards and 7 touchdowns, for $8 million, I'd probably make that deal. I think any team would go, hey, $8 million for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns, we'll say, just a couple 8s across the board. Yeah, I'd make that deal. You make that deal? I'd make that deal. So that's probably around the ballpark he's going to. But if you want some real news, I know Matthew asked for a Kirko update. It's sounding like Kupp is not going to drag this out, and it could be decided soon. No list of true finalists, but maybe sometime before Sunday, he could make a decision. Reese Atkins from our Falcons channel. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? I don't know, Reese. I'm with you, buddy. I know that I am pretty guarded when it comes to like following people on Instagram when scrolling reels. It takes, more than just one good video to be like, all right, I will click the follow button. But I would hope that if you've come back a few times now and you like the content a little bit, sample it, hit the subscribe button, watch more videos that we post on the channel. If you don't like those videos, you can always unsubscribe. It's also 100% free. So, Reese, thank you for supporting the channel in 2 ways here, helping the subscriber count and, of course, with your very nice donation. Another super chat from Matthew Taylor. You should start posting on Wednesday. I have nothing to watch on Wednesday. Also, we need to draft a bulldog. Matthew, on our Falcons channel, we go live every Thursday, and I post videos every single day. So if you're referring to a live, I can't help you out too much in that department.
And we actually posted a video about the Falcons looking to draft Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, we did the video yesterday at some point. We did a whole Falcons contingent. I think it was last night's video, actually. Yeah, it was yesterday's video. I put it out about 7 p.m. all about Falcons front office members and coaches going to the UGA Pro Day. And maybe this is the year they end the drought of boycotting their next-door neighbors in Athens. Mr. Taylor, thank you so much. Hater from our Broncos stream. Should the Broncos take Mike Hunt or gonorrhea? It's going to take a lot to deal with gonorrhea. I think that might cause you to be out of commission for a while. Mike Hunt. I think Mike Hunt could.
I will say, Mike Hunt, locker room problem.
Could be, yeah.
It's not liked by a lot of people in the locker room.
Yeah, it needs to be groomed and maintained as a player to be effective.
For 100%.
And, one last thing on Mike Hunt, like once a month or so, just has a complete blow up.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. That's fine. Yeah. I don't know.
But you know what? Two quality free agents right there.
For sure.
Actually, I'm going to say gonorrhea, not a quality free agent.
Yeah, no.
I would avoid that one, actually.
Yeah.
You know where gonorrhea is probably going to sign? I give major, Las Vegas vibes.
Yeah.
Probably hangs out there a ton.
Right. I agree.
Quincy McBride. Ooh, Ben Dover is a good prospect, too. That's a prospect that's going to get balls deep in the field.
Yeah. I'm just worried about. I'm just worried about at the combine, the height.
Yeah.
Not there.
Carson's right. Mike Hunt is worn out.
Oh. Damn.
Been around the block for a long time. Hater, you're asking the hard-hitting questions right now in free agency, and I respect the hell out of it. Quincy McBride. One moment, Quincy. Any sleeper in the draft you think is not getting enough attention? I like this question, Quincy. I right now in March, my brain is so focused on free agency. Not that I don't have a sleeper for you, but let me just kind of look at my notes because I write down some names that I like. Okay. All right. Who jumped out to me? I'm trying to remember my time at the Combine, who I talked to a lot of players who I wouldn't qualify as sleepers, but I did like them. Who really? Oh, I've got one name.
Maxwell Hairston?
No. Nick Martin. He's a linebacker from Oklahoma State. He was injured last year, so he missed a lot of time. Really good 2023 tape, though. I think he's going to fall in the draft because of the injury, but I think a team's going to be happy with him in 3 to 4 years. So I'll put out Nick Martin as one option. Another one that I don't think is a true sleeper. Let me give you I think by sleeper, people really want to know who's going to be good in round 3 that should have been gone in round 2. Jaden Higgins, the Iowa State wide receiver, he's been getting a ton of praise and deservingly so. So if you want to sound smart in front of your friends, you could go with Tet McMillan in round 1, or you could do something else and get Jaden Higgins in round 3. That's one name right there.
What about Eric brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Phil.
We going back to the Mike Hunt?
Phil McCracken?
Yep.
Because still available, known to get down and dirty.
And then what's another? Oh, you know what? There's one more name though. Not to just single out Iowa State Cyclones. Darian Porter. I don't know if I call him a sleeper, but he's a fun prospect to learn about. The guy's 6'4" and plays cornerback. That's a rarity. That tall at corner. He was also an Iowa high school track winner. I don't know how good the track competition is in the state of Iowa, but he won a lot of, track records, state records, and things like that. Started off as a wide receiver for the Cyclones, changed to corner. He was in Ames for 5 or 6 years, so he's going to be a bit older. But Darian Porter, 6'4", there's going to be a GM that just can't get past a 6'4" corner working up against some tall receivers. But those are the names I'll toss out there right now. And then one more, Jack Beck, TCU wide receiver, scrappy, put him all over the offense. I like that one a lot as well. And then one last one. This one I don't know if I call a sleeper, but more of the Darian Porter thing. Deion Walker, the guy's 6'8", 300 pounds. He is ginormous. He had great production in 2023 for the Wildcats, not in 2024. So some teams going to take a chance on him, and he's going to be a fun rookie for a team. But those are my sleepers, if you will. I see another super chat flying in here. Tim Green's in the chat? Tim Green's here. Let's go. Tim. Yeah, he's getting in the mix right now. Let's go, Tim. Didn't know you get down like that. Oh, did Jack Conklin redo his contract? He sure has. So we have some Browns news. I'm going to read it out to you right now. Jack Conklin has restructured his contract. He'll make $10 million instead of $14 million with a chance to make $2 million in incentives. This is why I don't like the term restructure being used to talk about different things. This is not the same restructure that they did with Deshaun Watson's contract. This is a pay cut. They should just call it what it is. It's a pay cut. Jack Conklin was told, if you don't lower that, we're going to have to cut you. And so he agreed to a pay decrease. So Jack Conklin agreeing to a pay cut, which would be called a restructure, but I think it's better to be known as a pay cut, going from $14 million down to $10 million with a chance to make some money back in incentives, and then he'll be free after the season instead of 2027. So it takes 1 year off of his contract, and it lowers his cap hit for this year too. I won't look at any cap numbers for a little bit because it takes some time for these things to really get finalized and make its way to over the cap and Spotrac. But Jack Conklin, the news, agreeing to a restructured 1-year, $10 million contract instead of having the 2 existing years on his deal for more money. No, I don't think so. Yeah, can we do a short? Someone highlight cuts a short. Could that be organized? Yeah, let's give that a go. Bradley, all-time super chat right there. We'll get that in a moment. So a pay cut for Jack Conklin. I wish I had what the salary cap savings implications would be, but it just doesn't get updated that quickly. It just takes a little bit of time. I'll look right now, but I doubt it's going to be instantaneous. Yeah, no. Over the cap still has him at $14 million. So this will be maybe his last year in Cleveland. I like how Ammon K was the first one to break the news to me. All right, so Jack Conklin staying put for 2025 at right tackle. Maybe this was the sacrifice to keep Teller with Bitonio returning. Always seemed like a little bit of a long shot that the Browns could bring back both their expensive veteran guards in Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller when they took Zach Zinter in the 3rd round last year. Maybe there's a lack of confidence in Zinter to take over at right guard from Teller. But for now, it looks like the Browns are going to be pretty much bringing back their same starting 5, with the exception of Jed Wills, who I don't know if you could even call part of the original starting 5 or the same starting 5, since he was benched at the end of the year for DeJuan Jones. He was healthy, and he was not out there. Anthony says, huge signing just happened. Is that the case? I don't know, Jim. I don't think we're going to get a huge signing right now. Yep. Okay. And I think Jack Conklin last year played some good football. Once he got on the field, he was a consistent piece of the right tackle position. And that was an offensive line that had anything but consistency. So I like this for the Browns. And for Conklin, it was probably either this would be released and he wanted to continue playing in Cleveland. And, $10 million is still, a good chunk of change with $2 million to be earned back in incentives. So, yep. Okay. We got EHYGO with a super chat. We'll catch up on these supers in just a moment. Chris Tyler, Salah, is that guy? There's no question. I don't know. You lost me a little bit. The Ulbrich has learned from the best and said Salah turned it over to him after a few weeks, and Salah never said he was lying, so we shall see. But I think everyone can agree that for a Jack Conklin contract pay cut to stay in Cleveland's a pretty good deal for the Browns. Like, you don't have to go out and find a new starting right tackle. That's a bit of a sigh of relief, I'd say. All right. Are we ready, Reed, just to break it down short style? Okay. I think we could just kind of keep it right here. Oh, Bradley, who will draft Barry McConkner? There was nothing better than peak Barry McConkner on Twitter. Him doing the checkdowns videos, montages of Tom Brady. Look at Tom Brady, so good. Look at this little 2-yard pass, and look at the running back, get all the yards after that. Great job, Tom. Those were the best.
But so, what team you think?
What team? What?
Who will draft Barry McConkner?
Barry McConkner. Man, who would do that?
I mean, he's got smothering defense.
Yeah. That's a good one. I can't think of what team would be a good fit for that.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's kind of recap the Jack Conklin news. Are we ready? No, because it's going to be just me, so there'll be no graphics in the shorts. Oh, that's fine then. Yeah. Put the L3. Yeah, of course. Okay. All right. And then we'll get to EHYGO Super in just a moment. So just a quick recap of the Browns news for our Browns viewers here. Ready to let Durham know? All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. The Browns and Jack Conklin have agreed to a contract restructure. I don't like the word restructure. It's a pay cut. He's taking his base salary from $14 million down to $10 million. It's also just a new one-year contract, taking away the pre-existing contract, which had him on the books for 2025 and 2026. So in a simpler, shorter version, Jack Conklin agrees to a new one-year, $10 million contract. It will lower his cap hit this year. I don't know just by how much. Those numbers usually take a few hours or sometimes even up to a day to really come in. But this allows Conklin to stay in Cleveland without him being on the books for a pretty decent contract for this year and next year. And now the Browns don't have to go out and find a new right tackle. And for Conklin, he still gets $10 million, and he has an opportunity to earn up to $2 million more in incentives, and he doesn't have to get released and go try and find a new job elsewhere. So I think it's a pretty good deal for both sides here, but the Browns and Jack Conklin agreeing to a new one-year, $10 million contract. All right. That's pretty much the takeaway there. Keith is here. Keith, hope you're having a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Let's check out the super chat we got from EHYGO. Oh, sorry. No, we have a Falcons super chat. By the way, the Falcons, they have made a comeback in the Super Chat battle. They're only $13 off of the Broncos, and thanks to Michael's $100 Super Chat before we even went live, putting Denver firmly ahead. Atlanta has gone on a 127-40 run since that moment. EHYGO, Jeff Ulbrich talked highly of Malachi Starks. However, his lack of production scares me. Even in my mock draft, why even is he mocked a top 20 prospect? Love the channel, thank you. EHYGO, first off, thank you for the kind words. You know, Malachi Starks is obviously, like every other Georgia Bulldog, one of the best athletes in the draft, and I get the production side. I kind of like Nick Emanwari maybe just as much and possibly more. That's the South Carolina safety. He had terrific production, and he was maybe a little bit of a late bloomer for the Gamecocks in a big frame indeed. So I don't think Starks is the good pick at 15. I'd be pretty upset, honestly. And I think Falcons fans would be upset too, but because it's a Bulldog, they'd be like conflicted. They're like, damn, they didn't go edge rusher, but they did pick a Georgia player, so I don't know if I should be upset or not. I'll be upset on your behalf. I don't think that'd be a good pick for Atlanta. I'm with you, man.
Minus, or I should say, I don't know the wording of this, but Mykel Williams.
Mykel Williams?
That's number one. I feel like that has
I'm still trying to formulate the true
Georgia
best.
aside, and like that whole thing of like, oh, you got to take a Georgia player. Like, I think he's going to be there at 15, right?
Yeah, it's a true crapshoot after Abdul Carter for edge rusher rankings. You'll talk to some people who have Shamir Stewart, who tested through the roof at the combine, but no production. And production to me is 90% in my evaluation of an edge rusher. Call it 80. That's a little high. 80%. I don't think if you can, if you could be unproductive in college as a tight end and be good in the NFL. But like, how many yards did George Kittle have his last year at Iowa? So some offenses, some defenses are not going to put you in a spot where you are going to get a ton of production. But you're still a good player. And you might fall a little bit in the draft, and some team is going to be very happy they took you. I want to guess. How many yards? He's like 314? George Kittle, 300 yards and change his last year at Iowa. So, like, production, some positions is somewhat not meaningless, but less important than others. Edge, important.
Do you want to guess what he had in his junior year?
150?
290.
290?
And then freshman year, 108. Sophomore year, 25. Did he get hurt?
He must have got hurt. I think he got hurt in college.
Played 12 games, though.
Oh, I don't know then.
He also did
314
in 11 games.
We got another super chat coming in on Falcons today. That's actually going to put the Falcons chat just $3 behind the Broncos chat in the driver's seat for a gold medal for super chats today. Browns, so a Browns $100 super chat will get them right back into it within 6 of Denver and within 3 of Atlanta. Play it out. 7 is a good name. I want to name my firstborn 7. 7? If you know, you know. Sag butt. Mike Hunt is washed. Gonorrhea can be unleashed deep and is fiery when leaked out. Yeah. Gonorrhea is going to make the team burn. That's for sure. That's going to have some effects on your team and everyone else's team. That's one way to describe it for sure, Sag butt. This has turned into the most like PG-13.
I think gonorrhea is a locker room virus.
I would like to think, imagine if there was like a 5-year-old watching this, which I don't think would be good for the 5-year-old, and they didn't understand this, but the parent watching was like, now this I can enjoy. No more talking Mr. Orange.
That's like,
or Bluey, whatever. But we can watch this, and you don't understand gonorrhea.
That's like when you're watching, this was like probably like 2000s, mid 2000s.
SpongeBob.
No, well, that probably yes, but movies where they know parents are taking their kids to the kids movie, and they have little adult jokes in there for the adults who took their kids to the movie theaters to watch the movie. Mm-hmm. The kids don't get it because it's an adult joke. Right. But that's sort of like what it is. I love there's some in Toy Story and like it's so funny.
Ole Miss and Arkansas tied at 80 with 5 seconds. Ole Miss 3 at the buzzer to win. Got it. Actually, not quite at the buzzer. Arkansas got a shot off. Oh, and he Gordon Haywarded it from half court where he got off the backboard, front iron, it out. So Ole Miss knocks out Arkansas in the SEC tournament. Arkansas 9 seed in the SEC. I would love nothing more than Calipari misses the tournament his first year. And maybe that would do it. We'll see. Ole Miss, though, advancing. Ole Miss is just playing for the best seed possible. I took down my Volunteers last week, and I think they've got a chance to be like a 4 or 5 seed if they win one or more. Tennessee, I think, has to be Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida, I think, are all battling for the last 1 seed. And whoever goes the furthest in the tournament gets that last 1 seed. Whereas if Tennessee had beaten Ole Miss and they ended the year on like a 6-7 game win streak, whatever they were on, they could have afforded to lose to Florida or Bama in the championship and still be the 1 seed. As backwards that might sound, after beating both those teams earlier, that might not have counted against them too much. Sky Guy, I love your channel. This one's coming in from our Broncos channel. I came here for all my Broncos updates. Who do you think we should sign? Who do you think we should grab in free agency next? So you've gotten a safety, you've gotten a linebacker, and you've gotten a tight end. what were the 4 big needs for Denver going into the offseason? Running back, tight end, linebacker, safety. I would think running back next. I would pursue the mindset of signing a running back that is there to be a pass catcher and a pass protector. I do not think you should sign J.K. Dobbins because he had 900 yards last year, because you're not looking for a 900-yard running back if your plan is to draft one, which I think Denver will be taking a running back in rounds 1 or 2, at latest 3. So then, what could that rookie running back maybe not excel in? Receiving and blocking. Go after a veteran running back that can do one of those or hopefully both those things, so that rookie has a little bit less on their plate in their first year. That, to me, Sky Guy, would be the next avenue to go down. Possibly a wide receiver. You added Trent Sherfield, but he's a special teamer. I don't think Denver's looking to make a big swing at wide receiver, though. So I'm thinking running back. Try to find a good blocking running back. Who's some of the better free agent running backs available? Let me look here. J.K. Dobbins, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Hunt can protect and he can catch. Maybe Kareem Hunt. That's an option, I guess. Sky Guy, thank you so much for the super chat, though. I don't have a specific name. I would just look for a veteran running back that can do those 2 things that I mentioned. Appreciate it. Is that the cat from that meme with the girl sitting around the table? That's an all-timer. We've got a few other super chats coming in. Browns and Falcons. Broncos 150 in supers, Falcons 142, and then a Steelers fan helping the Browns channel out, getting him up to 36. EHYGO, who do you think the best MLB in terms of best middle linebacker, like baseball, in terms of pass rush ability this year? I can only think of 2. However, the race is close. Rise up, birds. EHYGO, in the draft, I was just about to ask, do you mean draft or free agency? Jalen Walker, I think from Georgia, is one great candidate. Jahad Campbell, the Alabama linebacker, is another very good, true middle linebacker. Those are the 2 names that jump out to me the most. Let me just make sure I'm not forgetting someone, since there's so many names. I don't want to be a Dumbo. I'm like, how did I not say this guy? Some people are calling Jalen Walker an edge. I don't. I think he's going to be an off-ball linebacker. I think he's going to be like a Caden Ellis for Atlanta, wherever he ends up. A linebacker who you use on blitz packages. I don't think he's just honestly big enough to play truly an outside linebacker dealing with tackles first, second, and third down. Other than those 2 guys right there, the UCLA linebacker, Carson Schwarzenegger, that's one option, but I would go with those 2. I'd go with Jalen Walker from Georgia and Jahad Campbell from Alabama. A Steelers fan, I have to assume. I don't know. Who do you have the Browns taking 2nd, 33rd, 67th, and 90th? Jeez. All right. Let's start with 2nd. This is obviously like the $1 million question right now. No one in Cleveland can say definitively, and anyone that can is just trying to pass along their preference.
I hope you know, I want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
This is not a Steelers fan. This is a joke. Like it says we haven't won a playoff game, and then in 8 years.
Where do you see that part?
It's written. The yellow part, the yellow part in his logo. It says in 8 years, and it says we haven't won a playoff game in 8 years.
Oh,
so it's a play on the Steelers.
See.
It's a Browns fan.
I get it. That's pretty cool. I like that. All right. 2nd, like I said, I'm just giving you my prediction, not like a here's what I'm hearing thing. My prediction is they trade the second overall pick. That's a bold prediction. Actually, no, I don't think they're going to trade it. Because I think if the Giants get Russell Wilson, they're not going to trade up a spot. So, scratch the trade. I'll retract it. I'll go Abdul Carter. I think the Titans go with Cam Ward. I'll go Abdul Carter at number 2. For 33rd, I could see them taking an offensive tackle that slips out of round 1. Maybe like a Josh Connerly from Oregon or Ariante Irsay from Minnesota. They've not drafted a tackle in a good amount of time. Could save it for next year when Jack Conklin's officially gone, and if they don't think DeJuan Jones could play left tackle, they move him to right tackle, and then they go draft a left tackle. But I could see them drafting one to develop for a year. I'll go back to his super chat real quick. And then 67th and 94th, I don't have good concrete names. I can give you like guys I like, but I'd be lying if I was like, here's where I think they're going to go at 67, and here's why. Quarterback at this point, and I could see the quarterback being, I could see it being Quinn Ewers. I could see Andrew Berry liking the prospect a ton of the arm talent and giving Quinn a year to develop. And then 94th, I'll go with Dylan Sampson. They need a running back. I'll go with Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. Yeah, I just think he'll be available, and I think the Browns could like him. He sure did. Smart guy for sure. I don't know. Thank you so much for your super. We got some other super chats coming in right now. Tim Green, if the Browns lose Chubb in free agency, could you see them drafting 2 RBs instead of just 1? Your thoughts? I don't think they will. It's kind of rare for a team to draft 2 running backs in the same draft. It just does not happen very often to, really beef up at that position. Because there's only 1 ball, and it's hard to use both running backs in a game. On top of the running backs you already have on your roster. So I think they'll just take the 1 running back in the draft, no matter what happens with Nick Chubb. Appreciate the question, though, Tim. And then we have Kevin. Kevin, you've retracted your message. You got when you retract the message, it doesn't go on screen because our software that doesn't have the ability to find it. So I'm sorry, Kevin. I want to put it on screen, but when you retract the message, now we can't put it on. Shout out to Kevin Alcox for his $2 super chat. Browns question. So this is something that Broncos fans can definitely have some fun with. Do you want to sign Russell Wilson point blank? I think he'd probably go for maybe he ends up settling for a 1-year deal. I know. I think with him having 2 teams interested in him, he could use that as leverage to get a 2-year contract. And I wonder if that is enough for, I think Russ is going to sign a 2-year, $35 million contract. That's just kind of what the going rate is for quarterbacks. And I don't want the Browns to give Russell Wilson a 2-year contract. We got another super chat coming in. But we got another move here. The Vikings, I'll read this out loud, are releasing their 2019 first-round pick, Garrett Bradbury, unless a trade can be worked out. So if you are looking for an offensive lineman to trade for, Garrett Bradbury from the Minnesota Vikings is available. They've already traded Ed Ingram. They are revamping their interior O-line. Thoughts on Dante Thornton, 6'5", 214, 430. Went to Tennessee, so I'm quite familiar with Thornton's game. And if you ever play NCAA, he is the guy running down the sideline that's very fun to throw to. He's a speed demon. I think he's more of a track star than necessarily a football player. And that's a big knock against him, and I definitely would not have the balls to say that to his face. But I think we all know, like Anthony Schwartz, examples of guys who are really fast, great athletes. Not so sure it's going to translate to the NFL level when you can't just be fast anymore because everyone's fast. So I would have interest in him in day 3 for his speed. Anything earlier than that, no thank you. Yeah, I thought we put the timer on for... Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll do timer. 35-minute timer. Just no big news here, so we'll throw a 35-minute timer on. We'll wrap up the show around that point. And we'll see who wins the Super Chat and Like Battle by that point as well, as we head into maybe our final live of the week. You know, just not a whole lot of traction right now in the NFL. So don't want to keep you guys captive if we got nothing going on. Robbie says no. Beckham wants to know, what about Christian McCaffrey? I think Christian McCaffrey's name's going to come up. I think the 49ers will answer the phone, and I think they will listen and then hang up. I don't think the 49ers have any interest in really trading him, but I do think they have interest in at least listening to someone give an offer. It would have to be a ridiculous offer, and no one's making a ridiculous offer for a running back who's 28, 29 years old, coming off, tendinitis. What was the injury? You'd go to Germany for treatment? Brandon Parker, the offensive lineman? Oh, Brandon Perna. Sorry, he's a big YouTuber. I saw in the Falcons, someone said Brandon Parker. I was like, that's a Raiders tackle. Josh, I have watched his stuff before. He's very funny, very entertaining, very good what he does. And I think that he's a YouTuber. He's a Broncos fan who covers the NFL. It's probably like the best way to describe it. But he's got 500-ish thousand subscribers. Yeah, he's one of the big big kahunas for sure. And he's very good at what he does. Very entertaining. The difference, there's lots of differences, but one of the big differences, he puts like game highlights, like broadcast highlights. And we're just not allowed to do that here at Chat Sports. Just YouTube copyright, things like that. So, but he's very good. Okay. Oh, ZD, we literally re-signed Brandon Parker. Oh, now I'm getting on confused. Brandon Parker used to be on the Raiders. Am I thinking of a different Brandon Parker? Or did the Falcons make a re-signing, an offensive lineman? Let me look. Because ZD, I'm not getting... Oh, they did. They did sign it. Okay. All right. This time, ZD's... Okay. I just couldn't trust you anymore. That's what happens. You're the boy who cried wolf. So the Atlanta Falcons are re-signing offensive lineman Brandon Parker. He's been a backup for them. I don't think he saw a single snap last year in the regular season. He was on the Raiders for a while. He was on the Falcons, I think just practice squad last year. I don't think he was on... Let me look. I think he spent the whole year on the practice squad. Yep. Oh, no. I think he was on the roster. He just never played once. Either way, a very minuscule move, but the Atlanta Falcons are indeed re-signing backup offensive lineman Brandon Parker. So they are really keeping a lot of their O-line intact, except for Drew Dalman. Drew Dalman goes to Chicago, but Brandon Parker, Storm Norton, 2 offensive linemen being re-signed by Atlanta. So those are the 2 small moves, and we'll actually, after the live show, do a video breakdown on that. There's really nothing here that's got a ton of intrigue. It's 2 backups being signed again to be backups. And I think oh my God, I think they are quality backups, but when they never go on the field, you just got to take the coaches and team's word for it. Wow. Mr. Ha-Ha getting things maybe cooking a little bit. A $100 super chat on our Falcons channel. Hello, Broncos and Doo-Doo Browns. Dirty Birds got Mr. Ha-Ha again. I swear, if Overlord comes out, this thing's going to be over before it even starts. Mr. Ha-Ha, thank you for your super chat. Browns and Broncos fans, don't let him talk shit to you like that. Clap back at him. Mr. Haha, thank you again for your support of the channel. I like the competitiveness. I think it's fun to see 3 fan bases that don't have a ton of like historical overlap. Browns and Broncos do, but that's, pre-99. Falcons, not so much with, Falcons, Broncos once in a big game, and not really much with the Browns, but still. It's kind of fun to have all 3 of my channels hanging out in one area. I know not everyone likes it, but it's the best way for me to get you guys as much content as possible. So with that $100 super chat from Mr. Haha, it puts Falcons today in the driver's seat in our super chat battle. Day 4 of NFL free agency. Broncos in second, Browns in third now, and we just got another super chat from I Don't Know in our Browns channel. Atlanta re-signed 2 offensive linemen today, Storm Norton and Brandon Parker. That's the news for the Falcons. No signings for the Broncos. For Cleveland, they have a new 1-year, $10 million contract for Jack Conklin, taking his original $14 million down to $10 million and removing 2026 from his contract. I don't know. Do you think we should have just traded Garrett? And in case you missed it, Anthony Walker is joining Baker in Tampa. I saw that Anthony Walker and it was a linebacker from the Bucs and a linebacker from the Dolphins re-signing with new teams. So I did see that. And I always liked Walker for the Browns. It's just a bummer you can never stay healthy. As for trading Garrett, time will tell. I saw Jason Lloyd from The Athletic today put out this article that Garrett would come to meetings late and skip mandatory things. I find it very eerie that he signed the largest contract in NFL history for a non-quarterback and not a peep from Barry, Stefanski, or Garrett about it. Nothing public, nothing. Not even a screenshot from Miles' notes app. I think Garrett realized he just can't get a trade like he would like. So if he's going to be here, get $123 million guaranteed. Get a no-trade clause so that the next time he requests a trade, he can have a little bit more of a say where he goes. And the Browns keep him here disgruntled. I think if this doesn't work out, we'll look back and go, maybe they should have traded him away, since I don't know how it's going to work in the locker room. You're going to have the leader of this team not wanting to be here because he doesn't think this team can win. On a human element, that's got to have some impact, right? It doesn't look like someone who you want to go to war with, right? You want to strap up and throw your body on the line alongside someone who said, hey, we can't compete here. Like, I don't believe in the direction we're headed. That seems like a very tough relationship to work through with Stefanski. If the head coach and the best player aren't really on the same wavelength, it's tough for everyone else to fall in line. So that's really where I'm stuck here when it comes to this. It would have been bad to trade him because you would not have gotten what he's worth. He's a Hall of Famer. Either way, I felt like you were kind of doomed. I don't know. Thank you for your super chat, though. We've got Derek Jenkins from our Falcon stream. Browns country, let's ride. It's dog pound. Let's ride. Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope Russ goes to the Giants and he can work with. That would be more entertaining for people to watch from afar. I don't want to be a part of it. All right. We're all caught up on supers now at that one? I think so. Mm-hmm. Oh, there it is. I did not see that. So Myles Garrett will speak to reporters on Friday. Yep. Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's going to be a tough press conference. if the right questions are asked, which I assume they will be, the first one's got to be, why'd you sign the extension after asking for a trade? Because he said it was not about the money. So what about the extension satisfied his need to leave? I think he's going to try him and his PR team are going to try to come up with the best response that does not make him sound like a sellout, but the guy sold out. I don't know if sellout's the best word. He really had no other course. So he had to either sit out or sign an extension. But I don't know if he's going to just come up with a bold-faced lie and go, actually, I do think this team is headed in the right direction. I do believe in this front office. Yeah, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just going to tweet this out. Since his extension. Question number 1 should be.
Apparently, Mary Kay is saying Myles Garrett was on hand to help recruit Russell Wilson.
I saw Mary Kay say that Garrett was in the house.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, he's back. Now we find out if Russ would rather play in Cleveland or New York. I think if he got equal offers, I think he'd choose New York because him and his wife has always been more of a bougie people. So I think he would rather go there. But if he feels like for his game, what's best, his career is Cleveland. Although working with Jerry Jeudy again would be avoid Jeudy in fantasy football for us as the Browns quarterback. We got a super chat from our Brown stream. ZD Productions has a question for you, Reed, after this next super chat. Matt, can you... I thought when I first saw it, I thought it was about flashing the camera. I was like, this is going to go off the rails. First off, I'm going to take this as a compliment. And that's got to be a first from He's Him. Because while trying to insult me, he is acknowledging some weight loss. So I'll stop right there and go, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. As if I ever saw it before the weight loss too, by the way. What a crazy thought.
I know.
Or the weight gain.
ZD Productions asking, on March 17th, do you still think Kirk will be here? I'm asking me. Oh, he's asking me. Grand Limousine with a $10 super chat. ZD, this is what I think. Think he's going to push back on where he wants with his trade clause. He's going to use it.
Yep.
He's going to push back. Going to realize that they could just keep him. I don't know if the Falcons want to keep him. So I'm not really sure. But going off of what I think, no, he will not be on the Falcons.
There he goes. Grand Limousine with a $10 super. Falcons adding on to their lead right now. 21 minutes and change left in our race for the super chat and like battle. And it just got a lot tougher for the Broncos and Browns to come back. Mr. Haha with a $50 super chat. Grand Limousine, ladies and gentlemen. #1 limousine service. Grand Limousine, I still got to hear from the other party, though. So I don't know if I need to reach out or they need to reach out to me, but let me know, please. My fiance is getting quite stressed. I hear about it every night when I go home. Stop Schmeat riding, Petey. As Kendrick said, you a fan, you a fan, you a fan. I don't get this at all. Yeah. This is me. This is like when I interpret what an athlete's cryptic tweet says. I gotta be honest, Mr. Ha. Love the super chat, of course. I don't know what this means. Oh, he's him. I thought he was adding me. I was like, what am I doing to say
He's saying just hop off
I missed the he's him part.
Like, get it out of your mouth.
Yes. No, this all makes sense. I thought he was saying this to me, and I was like, what have I done to get this impression that I'm meat riding myself? Mr. Haha, now I love the super chat even more. Thank you very much. I look forward to he's him's response. We might have a Drake Kendrick battle right now between he's him and Mr. Haha. Oh boy. We got super chat coming in on our Browns channel. I don't know, and that's my LinkedIn photo from when I covered a college basketball tournament, the Gulf Coast Showcase. LaSalle Explorers won the game.
That looks like long-haired Petey. Like
longer. I've never had a different hairstyle. I'll say that much.
But longer. Like that's like.
Yes, it's longer because I was in college and I was lazier with getting haircuts. I get haircuts now probably once every 5 to 6 weeks. In college, it's probably 1 to every 8 to 9 weeks. Yeah. Do you think the Ayuk trade is just smoke, or are we interested? The Browns were interested before. So what's changed from August to then? One, instability at the quarterback position. So if they don't feel like without the quarterback in place, it makes sense to trade for Ayuk, I could see them backing out of talks now. 2, Ayuk got seriously injured. 3, his value has gone down. So you got some pros and some cons. It won't cost you as much if the Niners really do want to trade him. Cons, when you wanted to trade for him, you probably thought Deshaun Watson was going to be here for a long time and he was going to play really good football and all that stuff. That is not the case. So you want to acquire Ayuk without the quarterback in place. 2, do you want to trade for a receiver coming off a major knee injury? I think not. I think those 2 cons are going to outweigh the pro of if they were asking for a first before, maybe now it's down to a 3rd. I'll say no. Plus, he signed a mega extension, and now you got to pay about $30-ish million of that remaining. Someone's got to help out Michael from the Broncos channel, by the way. Guy came in here with a hundo before we even went live. He needs the cavalry. He needs some reinforcements. He's the only one in Omaha right now. And here he is standing all by himself taking grenades at Normandy. And he needs some damn assistance. Yeah. Quick shout out to our friends, our sponsor today over at Fanatics. They've got a lot of great deals, 25% off t-shirts, jerseys, hoodies, lots of awesome merchandise. So if you want to get some more Fanatics gear in your life, go to chatsports.com/Fanatics. It is 25% off. So don't wait, because I don't want you guys to think about it and then go, hey, sometime next week I'll get this. And then you roll around to it and the deal is gone. So I put this link in the description, chatsports.com/Fanatics. Check it out if you want to get a Bo Nix jersey, a Falcons hoodie, a Browns t-shirt, a bunch of other really good stuff out there as well. Any other news? No news. Okay. We got 15-ish minutes left, 16 minutes, yeah. I love the ticker, by the way. Reed does a great job of putting on a cycle, because I like to think everyone that watches this, they may not be a big football fan, but they damn well know that Kevin Givens re-signed with the Niners. You know what I mean? Like, all we've done is just see it, and I love it. Like, that way, you know, everything's going on in the league. Oh, boy. Couple of supers flying in on Browns and Falcons. We'll check out these right now. Chronological. He's him. I could only be so lucky to, yeah.
He must be in a good mood.
Plus, I'm not Sketch, so that's not gonna happen.
Hey.
Is he still a big deal?
Yeah.
He is. I don't have TikTok, and I feel like that was his major platform.
He had a comeback.
He had a comeback.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if he kind of like fell out of the public eye a little bit.
Yeah, and then he also came back onto the media stream.
That's what I mean. Does he? Oh, I see. Does he still make very popular videos though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's great. I like him.
Yeah, he's him. Get in line, buddy. Next one up is Taylor Vaughn. We got a Broncos super chat. Let's go. A heartbeat from Broncos country. Another one. Taylor Vaughn, all Falcons defensive staff were at UGA Pro Day yesterday. Do you think UGA safety Dane Jackson could be a good late-round sleeper pick for the Falcons? He had a really good 40 time, right? I think he ran a 4.4 something, so good speed altogether. It would probably require Atlanta to trade back from 15 to acquire more draft picks to then have something in day 3 to pick up. They got 2 7th-rounders. I'm not going to BS you guys and go, that's a 7th-round pick, that's a 6th-round pick. In day 3, guys can go anywhere. Position needs kick in, and players who other teams think are 7th-rounders could go a round or 2 earlier because the team really needs a running back. You know what I mean? But, so, yes, the entire Falcon staff going to Athens, which, by the way, that's their job, and I'm trying to think of where they'd be driving from, but we'll just call it a 45-minute drive, 50-minute drive. It's been a little while since I went from, Atlanta, suburbs and Flowery Branch, neck of the woods, to Athens, but you are next door to a powerhouse college. Everyone should go to the Pro Day. I don't think that should be like a badge of honor. You are right next door to a NFL factory. The cook should be there. So, them sending their entire defensive staff should be just the bare minimum moving forward. Taylor, thank you for your super chat. We got one from the Broncos channel. We haven't had Bulwark in a while. That's a bummer. We got a few more super chats coming in from the Denver, but this one from the land down under. Hi from Sydney. Even though Denver signed a tight end, could they trade for Dallas Goedert if they think available, or maybe Andrews? Also, chances of Cup coming. I'm going to say no. 1 second. Sorry, our friend from Sydney. No on the trade for a tight end. You don't just give Evan Ingram $23 million and then add more to that position group before the draft even, when you can get someone for younger and cheaper. You know what I mean? Than taking on Goddard or Andrews. I only thought of a Goddard-Andrews trade as a possibility if Ingram went to the Chargers. Now that he's in Denver, no, this would be overkill at that position. As for the chances of Cup coming, I could see Denver having interest in, a receiver like Kupp and where their receiver room stacks out. I think Cooper Kupp is going to end up probably in New England. If I had to make a prediction, I'll go with New England. I think he'll get more money from the Patriots, and I think he could be kind of excited about, hey, they're really, kind of building something in free agency here with Drake May. Let's give that a go. I think, did I even get a notification? That Patriots contacted Cooper Kupp. But wide receiver prefers to stay on the West Coast. So there is a chance for sure. Much greater chance for Kupp than the other two people. Thank you for watching all the way from Sydney. What time is it down there? It's got to be either really early or really late. Let's get to the other super chats real quick, though. We got Bo Lever with 2 super chats. Any news today for the Broncos? No. Right? They haven't done squat. No signings, no restructures, no releases. Bo Lever, the answer is no. The last thing they've done is sign Evan Ingram. I don't think I'm missing anything. So, appreciate the super chat. I'm sorry I did not have a more exciting response. We got a few super chats coming in on our Brown stream. He's him. He's him. This is the better version of you. The one that emails me mean shit, that one's not a nice version of you. Mr. Haas sold me fentanyl in a Walmart parking lot. I like that back and forth. If you're going to get in the deep end of the internet, be prepared to have things come your way. I think they're like 17 hours ahead. So I don't even want to do the math. I'm just going to guess the time. It's Friday, like 5 a.m. 7:49 a.m. Friday morning. It is not even dinner time right now in the U.S. on Thursday. Next super chat. Paula Chandler. He tried to do the right thing and he was ignored. Myles Garrett tried to do the right thing and he was ignored, and he didn't want to sit on the bench and just collect fines all year. So why not play and be rich? But try to do the right thing. How is going on a public media tour, asking to be traded and wanting to be no longer a Cleveland Brown, the right thing if he wants to be in Cleveland? Maybe I'm not understanding exactly what you're saying, Paula, but try to do the right thing. Hey, I don't have an issue with Myles wanting to be traded because he wants to go somewhere else. If a player wants to, like Josh Allen, I thought this was a really good quote, and I'll tie it back in a moment. But Josh Allen was like, he was asked, hey, you could have broken the record for highest paid quarterback. Right now that goes to Dak Prescott, making $60 million a year. Why didn't you do that? And he's like, I mean, it would have been an extra $5 million, but what do I need the $5 million for? I already have all the money in the world. I mean, he said, like, I already have a house and a car and everything I need. So why? It's like, yeah, that's a good point. So if Myles wanted to, prioritize winning over getting a few extra $1 million, I respect that. You only have a window to play football, but you have your whole life to make money, and you can take your money and you can invest it wisely and make more money after your playing days. So I understand Myles being like, I would like to go somewhere where I can have a better chance of winning. After the Browns won 3 games, and he's coming off or 2 years removed from a Defensive Player of the Year, all that stuff, I understand why an athlete would want that at that point of his career. But as for he didn't want to sit, like, he did the right thing. He said that the Browns are going in the wrong direction, and then he signed a contract extension. That's a tough thing to put back in the bottle.
Here's my thought on it.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to leave, and he really believed money doesn't matter. He's like, like Josh Allen, I have all the money in the world.
Yeah, and he's going to get more money.
And he went through all this stuff. I want to be traded, blah, blah, blah. And then found out, man, they're really not going to trade me.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm really not going to go anywhere. He still wants to play football. And if he's still, like, he's like, I want to play.
I think
it's going to be for the Browns. Might as well take more money.
If he had to do it all over
and they
again.
probably were going to extend him either way.
If he had to do it all over again, maybe don't say you believe the Browns are not going in the right direction. Because if you say that, you burn that bridge. You came back because you had no other recourse, but your whole locker room is probably going to be looking at you like, this guy doesn't think we can win. I think that's really tough to walk back. I think it requires I got to make a statement in front of the whole team. I said this team is not going anywhere, and then I took a contract here. That requires an explanation. Paula, thank you so much for your super chat. We have one more from He's Him and one from Mr. Haha. Under 10 minutes to go to see who's... Right now, the Falcons channel has the super chat lead at 3:15 with Broncos in second at 1:58. He's Him for DEI. Why there's no Oriental or Hispanic in the NFL? I feel like there's been... I know you're kind of making a joke here, but there's been a greater push for Hispanic influence in the NFL. I mean, I'm just somewhat going off of the Modelo commercials with all the Hispanic players. Roberto Garza. I think Tony Gonzalez might have been in those commercials. I think he was, right? As for Oriental, I don't think there's anyone in the Oriental community upset that there's not a bigger influence or piece of the pie of the NFL. So the NFL is probably not looking to solve a problem that doesn't exist. And by problem, I mean someone doesn't like something about the league. It might not be the most PC answer, but that's probably the accurate answer. Like, I know the NFL is like, Roger, we got to meet. We need a bigger Oriental influence. Why? Are people mad at us? No. But we've just decided. Like, okay, if people get mad, then we can start doing something about it. That's kind of the way they work. He's Him. Thank you for the supers. Mr. Haha, Falcons today What do you mean? Last time I seen you, you were selling your cheeks off Santa Monica Boulevard. And here we go. 5 minutes between these two just to fucking duke it out. Ball's in your court, Mr. Haha. $6.10. Always keeping me on my toes. We have a few more supers coming in here. We've got, I think, one more from He's Him. Yeah, if they can't have babies. All right. Now, see, you had a good thing going earlier, and now you've kind of gone over the line. And I'm just not going to lose my job over a He's Him super. Joseph, what's one free agent move for the Browns you want to see? Now, that's an appropriate super chat right there, Joseph. Thank you. All right, one free agent move I'd like to see for the Browns. Let's just put quarterback aside because I feel like that's a whole can of worms here. Running back. That's a need. And I haven't heard much talk about them settling that need in the draft. Not a ton of great running back options in the free agency this year, so can't do a whole lot there. Let me just look up some of the best remaining free agents. I don't expect the Browns to make a lot of moves in free agency. That's just never really been their thing. So who else is out there that's, worth pursuing? The easy one's re-signing Nick Chubb. I'm just trying to think of an external signing because everyone wants a new name. Those are just a little bit more fun, I feel like. J.K. Dobbins, I could get behind. I kind of like J.K. Dobbins. If you don't think you're going to go running back early, which I would disagree with, but it could be their thinking. We don't need an edge rusher. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins or... yeah, I'll go with those ones. I just don't expect him to have, a big free agent signing in the works. Joseph, thank you for a very good super chat, though. Great question, Joseph. Pat yourself on the back. And then we have I don't know with the super chat. Ramon Rivera, can J.K. Dobbins go to Denver? I think the Broncos should target a running back who's better at pass protection and receiving. Those are two elements of a running back's game that rookies tend to struggle with, and I want to take that off of rookies' play because I think Denver's going to go after a rookie running back. Andrew Berry rebuilds, Jimmy Haslam panics, and somehow the Browns remain stuck in an endless loop of hope, chaos, and disappointment. Well, let's just acknowledge a few things. Not to be like a Browns water carrier. They made the playoffs twice in the last 5 years. So you could do a whole lot worse. There are franchises like the Jets who are nowhere near that stage right now. As for Haslam, I think he has taken his medicine. I think he has pulled back on the meddling he did early on as an ownership. He was firing guys constantly. He has had some continuity here. And I think he's handling the Myles Garrett thing. I think if it happened with other teams, the owner would have said, talk to the GM. That's what I paid him to do. Don't try and jump him to come to me, right? I don't think he could have handled that much better than the way he did. So I understand that Jimmy Haslam is kind of public enemy number one because the Browns have just been bad under him, but I think he has shown a willingness to spend, and that's the best thing you can ask for in an owner. Would you rather have Jimmy Haslam, who meddled a little bit for a while, and sure, there's been a lot of losing, or the Bengals ownership, who just can't even afford their own players, so they have to trade a guy with 17.5 sacks for no good reason, and they sell it off because of the salary cap? But how is that the case when the Eagles are paying all these players? And see. Yeah, up to the super chat numbers. We'll see if we get one last push. Anyone going to make a Hail Mary effort? Right now it's shaping up for gold, silver, bronze. It'd be another. Falcons today would pretty much walk away with the win for the 4 live shows. Add $2 for He's Him. They pay me for cheeks, but you need to pay. I win. He's Him, Mr. Ha Ha, back and forth. Takes another step. I like this. How about a horse trough for a chugging deal for Broncos for Reed? That's a great idea. Let me go out and Amazon a horse trough this week. I'm not joking. That'll be a fun addition. Yeah. That's a great idea. Love that. And then I got to find something that a Falcon.
Like a real one, I'd be like, that.
I need a mini bird bath for like a Falcon one too. There we go. That would really complete it. All right. Are we going to get... I know that there's always a delay, so give it another like 15 seconds. But it's looking like Falcons today with the win. No news coming in either. Steelers re-signed Ben Skoranek, veteran. All right. Let's call it. That's game. Falcons today takes the gold. Silver goes to the Broncos breakdown. Shout out to Michael. And the Browns report takes home a Browns. Browns report takes home a bronze. And then like battle. We'll check that number as well. And then you want to update. We'll update that. He's him. Matt unbuttoned one more button. The first time I ever went live, I was very nervous. It was 3 years ago. And my brother super chatted, how much to get one more button undone? And that really loosened me up. That gave me a good laugh. I think it was like one of the first times I went live. I think it was 3 years ago, like I said, like February-ish, 2022. And obviously the war in Ukraine was just starting. And my brother super chatted that. And then I did a shout out your city. And I was going through the cities. And then he tossed in Kiev, Ukraine. And I was like, that is not a good time. And then the like battle we'll look at here. Derek Jenkins, appreciate your super chat. Mr. Haha doing the heavy lifting for sure. Him and Michael. All right. Okay, for likes too included? Okay, sweet. So final podium. Watch here. We'll do the math afterwards. So here is the Olympic medal count for 4 straight days of going live for NFL free agency. The question really is, do we go live tomorrow? We're going to leave it up to you. If you truly feel like it's run its course and there's just not enough buzz out there, I wouldn't blame you. But I'm going to give you guys the option to decide. So Falcons today, that's 5 points, that's 25. And then 28, 31, 33 points for Falcons today. They won like and. Damn, that's an ass kicking. Broncos, 10, 19. They're at 22. They got a silver and a bronze. That makes sense. And then Browns, they got silver and bronze as well, I believe. So that'd be 18. Or 2 bronzes? We got 2. We got 5. So that's 16 then. Kingston Powell says yes. Palak says yes. Archangel says run it back. We had some super chats we can throw on screen here in just a second. Well, we had a lot more guesses yesterday, I'm not going to lie. So, not a single guess for the Browns channel, but maybe that's just because they're tired of losing right now. Well, I mean, facts don't lie. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O. Jay Key, Brown should be at 18. Did I miscount? There's a good chance I miscounted. Let me read these supers first, Jake. They pay me for cheeks, but you need to pay, I win. Yeah, ball's now in Mr. Haha's court. And we had one more for He's Him. And then a Jared Brandt super. Next, he's him super chat. Now you're the one paying me, though. So I don't know how this aligns with your previous super. And then Jared, we running back again tomorrow. LOL, too good not to. All right, if Jared's got a super chat to do it, that's going to speak volumes right there. Joseph, for the record, Browns are winning at the regulation both Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday for sure. Monday as well. I might need to do a major booth review here. I kind of put together the medal system at the last moment, so there's also a good chance I botched that as well. I do not expect the Browns to make a move of note today. Doesn't mean they can't make a Cornelius Lucas or Devin Bush signing. There's no rhyme or reason for when those are going to happen. Jared, thank you for the super chat. We got one more from He's Him. JC, all right, you got it. I saw Matt storming the Capitol on January 6th. Does that mean you were there? Oh. Did you just incriminate yourself? He's him? Although I don't know if it's a crime anymore. So, he's him. Where were you? Okay, let's update because I guess I did the math wrong per Jake. And then I got to go look back to day one. I might be cucking the Browns here. So, 5 plus 9, 3, 6, 9. 5 plus 9 is 14. 14 plus 4 is 18. Oh, it said 18. Oh, I was like, it says 18 right there. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate the spotter. Okay. Weston says no. Oh, Weston says no. Then says one more day. Sean with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Sean. I think if we go live tomorrow, that's the last day for free agency. Because then I'm off Saturday, Sunday, and there will be news that breaks, and I'll just do videos from home. Unless it's big moves, then I'll come in to do a live show. But yeah, tomorrow would be the last day. Chris, Asante Samuel is not signed anywhere yet. We got 2 super chats. We could end with these 2 supers unless we get some more. 3+ hours live with you all. Mr. Haha would get the hands in the streets punk. I have no idea where either of these 2 people are located, but nothing would be better if they happened to be in the same area at one point and just did not know they were next to each other. Sean with a $20 super chat. Thank you very much, Sean. I think Sean's super chat, that got us over $100. So thank you, Sean. That really helps, goes a long way for getting the studio space for another live show, because getting all 3 channels over 100, that tells my bosses, okay, we can give Reed and Petey, more importantly, give Petey Reed to have him work with me and not work with a different channel or anything like that. So thank you for everyone that tuned in for our 3+ hours of day 4 of NFL free agency coverage. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We will be back tomorrow, and then that'll kind of be a wrap for 2025 NFL free agency live coverage. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.